The blood was still wet on the chrome when Thunder realized the girl couldn't scream. 3 letters smeared across his gas tank. SOS. Written in her own palm blood because she had no voice left to beg with. 12 years old, cigarette burns running up both wrists like a road map of hell. And the man storming across that Flagstaff truck stop parking lot wasn't coming to save her. 50 Harleys went silent. 50 veterans who'd seen war recognized something worse than combat in that child's hollow eyes. She didn't run to the police cruiser parked 30 feet away. She ran to the outlaws, because sometimes the only people who save you are the ones society already gave up on. If you want to see how far these brothers will go when a child writes SOS in her own blood, stay until the end. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. Let's ride. The neon vacancy sign outside the Desert Rose truck stop had been dying for 3 years, flickering between red and dead like a heartbeat giving up. Thunder sat on his Harley in the diesel-stained parking lot, leather cut heavy across shoulders that remembered carrying wounded Marines through Kandahar dust. The night air tasted like exhaust and coming winter. 49 brothers spread across the lot behind him, engines ticking cool, cigarette embers floating in darkness like distant tracers. He wasn't supposed to be here. None of them were. The Iron Vulture's MC had been riding north toward Flagstaff when Reaper's bike threw a rod outside this forgotten junction where Highway 89 met nothing but sagebrush and bad decisions. Now they were stuck at a truck stop that smelled like burned coffee and loneliness, waiting for dawn in a tow truck that wouldn't come for hours. Thunder killed his engine. The silence felt wrong. Too heavy. Like the air before mortars start falling. Across the lot, a white Econoline van sat idling near the restrooms. Engine running, windows tinted black. Nobody getting out. Thunder's jaw tightened. He'd seen enough surveillance positions in Helmand Province to recognize one parked in Arizona. You feel that? Reaper appeared beside him, wiping grease off tattooed knuckles. Former Army Ranger, 3 tours, eyes that never stopped scanning perimeters. Thunder nodded once. Didn't need to say more. They'd been brothers long enough to speak in silences. The truck stop was nearly empty, just a couple of big rigs parked near the diesel pumps, drivers sleeping in their cabs. A highway patrol cruiser sat beneath the fluorescent canopy, officer inside scrolling his phone. Normal. Too normal. Thunder had learned in Afghanistan that normal was usually camouflage for something worse. He walked toward the main building, boots crunching gravel, diesel fumes mixing with night cold. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed like dying insects. Coffee burned black in a pot that looked older than the building. The clerk behind bulletproof glass didn't look up from her phone. Thunder grabbed a styrofoam cup, poured coffee that smelled like regret, and moved toward the window. That's when he saw her. Small shadow moving between the parked semis, child-sized, wearing clothes too thin for November desert nights. Thunder's hand tightened around the cup. He'd seen kids in Afghan villages wearing that same kind of fear, moving with that same desperate caution. She was holding something. He stepped closer to the window. Cardboard sign. Sharpie letters bleeding in the dark. Hungry. Please help. Thunder's blood went cold. 12 years old, maybe. Long dark hair tangled and unwashed, moving between trucks like prey navigating a forest of predators. She wasn't begging. She was hunting for someone who might not hurt her. The distinction carved itself into Thunder's chest like shrapnel. He pushed through the door. Cold desert wind hit his face. The girl was closer now, maybe 30 feet away, approaching a trucker who waved her off without looking up. She flinched at the gesture. Full body recoil. Thunder recognized that response. He'd seen it in children who'd learned that adult hands only brought pain. Behind him, the Iron Vultures were watching. Silent. Still. 50 men who'd all seen things they couldn't unsee, who'd all come home to a country that didn't know what to do with broken protectors. They recognized damaged when they saw it. They always did. Thunder started walking. Not fast, not threatening, just steady movement across asphalt and diesel stains. The girl saw him coming and froze. Her eyes went wide. Thunder stopped 15 feet away, giving her space, giving her choice. He'd learned that in Fallujah. Terrified people need distance more than help. You hungry? His voice came out rougher than he meant. 3 years since Kandahar, and he still couldn't smooth the edges war had sharpened. The girl stared at him. Then her eyes dropped to the patch on his leather cut. Iron Vultures MC. Crossed wrenches behind a screaming bird. She looked at the patch for a long time, like she was making a decision bigger than a 12-year-old should have to make. Then she nodded, once, barely. Thunder gestured toward the truck stop. They got food inside, not great, but it's hot. She didn't move, just kept staring at him with eyes too old for her face. Thunder knew that look. He'd worn it himself, coming home from deployment, realizing the war never really ended. It just changed locations. "Name's Thunder," he said quietly. "Those men back there are my brothers. We're not going to hurt you." The girl's hands were shaking. She clutched the cardboard sign like a shield. Thunder noticed her wrists then, circular marks, old burns, cigarette burns. His vision narrowed. The world reduced to those scars and the rage building in his chest like a pressure wave. "Who did that to you?" The words came out flat, cold, the voice he'd used ordering fire missions in Helmand. The girl's mouth opened. No sound came out. She tried again. Nothing. Her face crumpled with frustration and terror. She couldn't speak. Not wouldn't. Couldn't. Thunder's hands curled into fists. Behind him, he heard Reaper moving closer, felt the other brothers spreading out, creating a perimeter without being told. Combat instincts never died. They just waited for new wars. The girl looked past Thunder toward the white van. Her whole body went rigid. Thunder turned slowly. The van's driver door was opening. A man climbing out. Greasy hair, leather jacket that looked too expensive for a truck stop. Eyes scanning the parking lot until they locked on the girl. The man's face changed, anger flashing into something colder, something calculated. He started walking toward them. Not hurrying, just steady, confident, like he owned whatever he was coming to collect. Thunder stepped between them. Didn't say anything, just put his body in the path. The man stopped 10 feet away. Up close, Thunder could see details. Prison tattoos on the neck, meth teeth, cheap cologne failing to cover the smell of sweat, and something worse. Something familiar. Thunder had smelled it before. In villages where Taliban kept kidnapped children. Fear. The specific smell of people kept in captivity. "That's my daughter," the man said. Casual voice. Rehearsed lie. "She's got some problems. Mental stuff. Runs off sometimes." Thunder didn't move. "She's got cigarette burns on her wrists." The man's smile never reached his eyes. "Kids these days. You know how it is. She hurts herself. We're getting her help." Behind Thunder, the girl made a sound. Not words, just a whimper of pure terror. Thunder had heard that sound before. In Kandahar. In villages where men did things to children that turned Marines into something beyond soldiers. Something darker. Something necessary. "Where's your vehicle?" Thunder asked. Voice still flat. Still cold. The man gestured toward the white van. "Right there. Come on, sweetie. Time to go home." He reached for the girl. Thunder's hand shot out, gripped the man's wrist, not hard enough to break, just hard enough to stop. The man's eyes widened, then narrowed, calculating, measuring, realizing he wasn't dealing with a civilian. "Don't touch her," Thunder said quietly. The tension crystallized. 50 Harleys sat silent in the darkness. 50 veterans watching this moment unfold. The highway patrol officer was still in his cruiser, scrolling his phone, oblivious or deliberately blind. The choice Thunder made in the next 30 seconds would define everything. The man jerked his wrist free. "You're making a mistake, friend." "I'm not your friend." The girl moved then, fast, desperate. She darted past Thunder toward his Harley parked near the fuel pumps. Thunder turned, tracking her movement. She stopped beside his bike, looked at the chrome gas tank, then looked at him. Something passed between them. Understanding. Permission. Choice. She pulled something from her pocket. Small piece of broken mirror. Thunder's breath caught. The girl pressed her palm against the mirror's edge, drew blood, red pooling in her small hand. Then she smeared it across Thunder's gas tank. 3 letters. Shaking hands. Desperate hope. SOS. The world stopped. Thunder stared at the blood on chrome, at a 12-year-old child who'd just made the hardest choice of her life, who'd decided that the outlaws were safer than the law, who'd used her own blood to scream what her voice couldn't. Behind him, the iron vultures went absolutely still. That dangerous stillness, the kind that comes before violence, the kind that separates men from predators. Thunder had felt this silence once before, in a firebase outside Kandahar when they'd found what Taliban fighters had done to a village of children. That night, good men became something else, something necessary. The greasy man's face changed, fear bleeding through calculated calm. "Now wait a minute." Thunder turned, met the man's eyes, let him see what 15 years of war had carved into a Marine's soul. Let him understand exactly how badly he'd miscalculated. "Get in your van," Thunder said. Words like bullets. "Drive away. Don't come back. Don't ever come back." The man took a step backward. She's not your daughter." Reaper's voice came from Thunder's left, cold, certain. "We both know what she is. Question is whether you want to walk away or get carried." More boots on gravel, the rest of the vultures moving closer. Not surrounding, just present, visible. 50 men who'd all killed for their country and hadn't quite figured out how to stop. The message was clear. The man read it, started backing toward his van. "This isn't over," he said. But his voice shook. He climbed into the Econoline, engine revving. He pulled out fast, tires squealing. Thunder watched taillights disappear north on Highway 89. The girl collapsed. Thunder caught her before she hit asphalt. She weighed nothing, all bone and terror. He lowered her gently, kneeling in diesel stains and motor oil. Her eyes were open but unfocused. Shock. Adrenaline crash. Thunder had seen it in combat, the moment after firefights when soldiers realized they were still alive. "You're safe," he said. Gentle voice. The one he'd used with wounded Marines. "Nobody's going to hurt you now." She stared at him, then at the blood on his gas tank. Her blood. Her message. Tears started falling, silent tears. She couldn't even cry out loud. Whatever they'd done to her had stolen her voice so completely she couldn't scream. Reaper knelt beside them. "We need to move. That guy's going to come back with friends." Thunder nodded, carefully lifted the girl. She didn't resist, just curled against his chest like she was trying to disappear into something safe. Thunder carried her toward the clubhouse bikes. The vultures parted, creating a path. Silent respect. They all understood what had just happened, what line had just been crossed. A child had asked outlaws for protection, and outlaws didn't say no. Thunder's sergeant-at-arms, a scarred man called Chain, stepped forward. "What's the play?" Thunder looked down at the girl in his arms, at cigarette burns and silent tears, and a broken child who'd written SOS in her own blood because the world had failed her so completely that criminals seemed safer than cops. "We find out who did this to her," Thunder said. "Then we make sure they never do it again." "Brother, that's a war." Chain's voice was quiet, certain. Thunder met his eyes. "Then we go to war." The girl's hand clutched his leather cut, gripping it like a lifeline. Her eyes closed. First time tonight she'd looked peaceful. First time maybe in months. Thunder felt something shift in his chest, something he'd buried after Kandahar, the part of him that still believed protecting the innocent mattered more than surviving. They loaded onto their bikes. Thunder held the girl against his chest, one arm wrapped around her, the other hand on throttle. The vultures formed up. Natural convoy spacing, combat positions. They'd done this before, in different deserts, under different flags. But the mission felt the same. Protect those who can't protect themselves. The highway patrol officer never looked up from his phone. They rode north under stars that didn't care about borders between war and home. The girl fell asleep against Thunder's chest, lulled by engine rhythm, and maybe, for the first time in months, feeling something close to safe. Thunder kept one arm locked around her, kept his eyes on the road. But his mind was already at war. Someone had burned this child. Someone had stolen her voice, so someone had turned her into prey. And that someone was going to learn what happened when predators made the mistake of hunting near wolves. The clubhouse was an old garage 40 miles north of Flagstaff, tucked into high desert where cell service died and questions went unanswered. Thunder pulled in first. The girl woke when the engine cut, looked around with wide eyes, scared again, trapped again. "You're okay," Thunder said quietly. "This is home. Our home. You're safe here." She didn't believe him. Why would she? Adults had been lying to her since the cigarette burn started, but she didn't run. Just watched, waiting for the next betrayal, expecting it. The vultures filed in. Chains fired up the wood stove. Reaper made coffee. Nobody spoke loud. They all recognized trauma when they saw it. They'd all worn it. The girl sat on a couch that smelled like motor oil and old leather, knees pulled to her chest, eyes tracking every movement. Thunder brought her water. "Can you write? If you can't talk?" The girl stared at him, then nodded slowly. He found paper, a pen, set them on the couch beside her. "Whatever you want to tell us, no rush, no pressure." She picked up the pen, hands shaking so hard the first few attempts just made scratch marks. Thunder waited, patient. Combat had taught him patience, how to sit in ambush positions for hours, how to wait for the enemy to make mistakes. Finally she wrote, block letters, child's handwriting, "My name is Lily." Thunder read it, nodded. "Lily, that's a good name." She wrote more, faster now. "They took my voice. I can't remember how to talk." Thunder's jaw tightened. "Who took it?" She flinched, wrote nothing for a long minute, then 3 words that changed everything. The bad men. Reaper appeared beside Thunder, Reed over his shoulder. His face went stone cold. "How many bad men?" Lily wrote, "Lots, a place, lots of kids." The room temperature dropped. Every vulture within earshot went rigid. Chains stopped mid-pour with the coffee pot. Reaper's hand curled into a fist. Thunder felt that old familiar rage building, the kind that got Marines court-martialed, the kind that turned good men into war criminals, the kind that sometimes was the only thing standing between innocence and evil. "Where's this place?" Thunder kept his voice gentle, didn't let the fury leak through. Lily shook her head, wrote, "Don't know. Desert. Big house. They bring kids there." "How'd you get away?" "I jumped from the van at the truck stop. They were getting gas." Thunder studied her. This small, broken child who'd survived enough hell to steal her voice, but not her will to live. Who'd jumped from a trafficker's van at a truck stop and bet everything on 3 bloody letters written for outlaws because society's protectors had already failed her. "How many other kids?" Reaper's voice was quiet. Dangerous. Lily's hand shook worse. She wrote slowly. "I saw maybe 20, some older, some younger. My sister is still there." The room exploded into controlled chaos, vultures moving, chains pulling maps, Reaper on an encrypted phone. Someone fired up laptops. Thunder stayed still, watching Lily watch the men around her transform from quiet drifters into something tactical, something military, something focused on a mission only veterans understood. She wrote again, "Why are you helping me?" Thunder looked at those words, at a question no child should have to ask. He knelt beside the couch, so their eyes were level. "Because you asked," he said simply, "and because we remember what it's like when nobody else will." Tears ran down her face, silent tears. She launched herself at him, small arms wrapping around his neck, holding on like he was the only solid thing in a world made of quicksand. Thunder held her carefully, this broken bird who'd chosen to trust the men society called dangerous. Over her shoulder, Thunder met Reaper's eyes. No words needed. They'd both been to war. Both knew what came next. But this time it wasn't about oil fields or politicians or borders drawn in sand. This time it was about a 12-year-old girl who couldn't scream and 20 other children waiting in some desert compound for rape and sale and erasure. This time it was simple. Reaper nodded once. Thunder nodded back. The vultures moved with quiet purpose. Weapons coming out of hidden storage. Satellite maps spreading across scarred tables. Former Rangers and Marines and soldiers falling into old patterns. Fire team formations. Rally points. Rules of engagement. But there was one problem. One massive complication that turned rescue into something else. Something darker. Lily wrote it out while Thunder held her. 3 words that made grown men with purple hearts swallow hard. They have cops. Thunder read it twice, then looked at Chains. Explain. Lily wrote faster now. The bad men wear police uniforms sometimes. They bring kids to the place. I saw police cars. Reaper slammed his fist on the table. Coffee jumped in mugs. Maps shifted. God damn it! Thunder understood. They all did. If local law enforcement was compromised, this wasn't just a trafficking ring. This was organized, protected, profitable. The kind of operation that had politicians' fingerprints and judges' signatures and prosecutors who looked the other way for the right price. The kind of operation that didn't get shut down. It got fed. We can't call this in, Chains said, stating the obvious. We don't know who's dirty and who's not. FBI? Someone suggested. By the time they investigate, those kids are gone, moved, killed, disappeared. Reaper's voice was flat. Combat logistics. Cold math. We've got maybe 48 hours before that trafficker realizes Lily's not coming back quietly. Thunder looked down at the girl in his arms, at the sister she'd mentioned, at 20 other children living in hell while adults argued about jurisdiction and evidence and proper procedure. He'd seen this before. In Afghanistan, villages full of kidnapped children, coalition forces hamstrung by rules of engagement while Taliban moved kids like livestock. Sometimes the rules protected the wrong people. Sometimes doing the right thing meant becoming the wrong kind of man. We find the compound, Thunder said quietly. We get the kids out. Then we burn it down. Silence. The kind that lives in the space between heartbeats. The kind that precedes declarations of war. That's a line, brother, Chains said carefully. We cross that. We're not just outlaws anymore. We're criminals. Real criminals. Thunder met his eyes. Those children didn't cross any lines. They just got thrown over them. Nobody argued. They'd all been to war, all killed for flag and country, and orders signed by men who never saw the blood. This was different. This was choosing the mission, choosing the consequences, choosing to become whatever was necessary to save children nobody else gave a damn about. The vote was unanimous without a single word spoken. They planned through the night, satellite maps, traffic patterns, guard rotations estimated from Lily's trembling descriptions. She told them everything she could remember, the big house, the barn where kids slept, the men with guns, the white vans coming and going, the sound of helicopters sometimes, rich people arriving in expensive cars. Every detail made Thunder's blood run colder. By 3 a.m., they had a workable plan. By 4 a.m., Lily was asleep on the couch, wrapped in Thunder's leather cut like a shield against nightmares. By 5 a.m., 50 iron vultures sat in dawn light making final preparations for a war that wouldn't have TV coverage or medals or parades, just blood and burning and the kind of justice that never made it to courtrooms. Thunder stood outside watching sunrise paint the desert red. Reaper joined him. 2 Marines smoking cigarettes in silence while the world woke up to a day it didn't know would change everything. You know we might not all come back, Reaper said eventually. Yeah. You know if we do this, we're fugitives. Every cop in Arizona hunting us. Yeah. You know Lily's sister might already be dead. Thunder turned, met his brother's eyes. What's your point? Reaper smiled, grim and cold and certain. No point. Just making sure you've counted the cost. Thunder flicked his cigarette into the dirt, watched the ember die. I counted it in Kandahar. I counted it when we came home, and nobody gave a damn about what we'd seen. I counted it every night. I couldn't sleep because I kept seeing kids' faces. He paused. I'm done counting. Time to make them pay the bill. Inside, Lily stirred, woke, looked around with momentary panic until she saw Thunder through the window. Her shoulders relaxed. Just slightly. Just enough. She trusted him. This child who'd learned not to trust anyone had decided the scarred Marine in blood-stained leather was worth betting her life on. Thunder wouldn't let her down, even if it cost him everything. The white van appeared at the end of the access road just after sunrise. Same Econoline from the truck stop. Moving slow, cautious. Hunting. Looking for the girl who'd gotten away. Looking for the bikers who'd interfered. Thunder watched it approach. Behind him, the vultures went silent. Weapons appearing, not brandished, just ready, just present, the kind of readiness that comes from muscle memory and combat deployments. The van stopped 50 yards out. Driver door opened. The greasy man stepped out. But he wasn't alone this time. 3 more men. Big, armed, prison tattoos and dead eyes, professional violence wearing cheap clothes. Thunder walked forward, alone, meeting them in neutral ground. Reaper and Chain stayed back but visible. The message was clear. Touch one, fight them all. You got something that belongs to us, the greasy man called, trying for confidence. Missing by miles. Thunder stopped 10 feet away. Girl's not property. She's inventory. The man's smile was pure rot. Valuable inventory, worth more than your bikes. Thunder's hand stayed relaxed, loose, ready. She's a child. She's a product. The man gestured to his muscle. We can do this easy or hard. Give her back, right away, nobody gets hurt. Thunder smiled. No humor, just teeth. Or we take her and burn your clubhouse down. With all you jarhead fucks inside. One of the muscle guys shifted weight, ready to draw. Thunder tracked the movement, calculated angles, cover positions, fire lanes, combat math happening in milliseconds. 3 armed men, maybe 4 seconds before shots fired. The vultures would cut them down, but noise would bring attention. Attention would bring cops. Cops might be working for the traffickers. This needed to be quiet. Here's what's going to happen, Thunder said, voice calm, cold, the one he'd used calling in airstrikes. You're going to get in your van, drive away. Tell whoever runs your operation that Lily's off the market. Find new inventory somewhere else. The greasy man laughed. You think you're some kind of hero? No. Thunder's smile disappeared. I think I'm a killer with 50 brothers who've all got nothing left to lose. So ask yourself, is one runaway worth all of you dying in the dirt before breakfast? The math changed. The muscle guys exchanged looks. They recognized real violence when it looked back. The greasy man's confidence cracked. Just slightly, just enough. This is bigger than you know, he said. Quieter now. People protect this operation. Important people. You're making enemies you can't afford. Good, Thunder said. I was getting bored. Standoff. Desert wind blowing dust between them. 50 yards behind Thunder, the iron vultures waited, not interfering, trusting their president to handle this, knowing he would, knowing he'd die before he let them take Lily back to hell. The greasy man broke first, stepped back toward the van. You're dead men, all of you. We've been dead since Kandahar, Thunder replied. Your turn's coming. The men climbed into the Econoline, doors slamming, engine starting. They pulled away fast, taillights disappearing south. Thunder watched them go, didn't move until they were gone, then turned back to the clubhouse. Lily stood in the doorway, still wearing his leather cut, eyes wide, terrified they'd made her leave. Thunder walked to her, knelt down, looked into those traumatized eyes and made a promise he might not be able to keep. Nobody's taking you back, he said. Nobody. I don't care who they know or who they pay. You're under our protection now. She hugged him, small arms desperate, holding on like he was life itself. Over her head, Thunder met Reaper's eyes. The message was clear. They'd just declared war on something bigger than a trafficking ring, something connected to law enforcement and wealth and power, something that wouldn't stop until the iron vultures were dead or scattered. But they'd made their choice. Some things mattered more than survival. The sun climbed higher, desert heat building. Somewhere in the high country, maybe 40 miles away, maybe less, a compound full of children waited. Lily's sister waited. 20 kids who'd learned to stop hoping for rescue waited in a hell built by men who thought money made them untouchable. The Iron Vultures began final preparations. Weapons checked, gear loaded, routes memorized. Every man knowing this might be his last ride. Every man riding anyway. Because 50 Marines and Rangers and soldiers had come home from war only to discover war followed them. That evil didn't stop at borders. That sometimes the only thing standing between innocents and monsters was a group of broken men whose society called dangerous. Thunder strapped on his sidearm, Old M1911. Carried it through 3 deployments, saved his life in Fallujah. He checked the magazine, chambered around, looked at his reflection in the scarred bathroom mirror. Haunted blue eyes stared back. Scars from shrapnel, gray at the temples, lines carved by too many years seeing things humans weren't meant to see. He barely recognized the Marine who'd enlisted at 18. That kid was dead. Died somewhere between Kandahar and coming home to a country that didn't want warriors anymore. But maybe that dead kid could still do one last good thing. Maybe saving 20 children would balance the scales. Maybe redemption looked like 50 outlaws riding into hell for kids nobody else would fight for. Thunder walked outside. The vultures were mounted, engines rumbling, leather and chrome and controlled violence waiting for the word. Lily stood beside Chain's bike, safe, protected, watching Thunder with eyes that held too much hope, too much faith in a broken man. He swung onto his Harley. The blood on his tank had dried brown. SOS. A message written in desperation. A plea sent to the only people who still remembered what protecting meant. Thunder looked at his brothers. 50 men who'd followed him through firefights and ambushes and the long dark years after coming home. 50 men who'd just voted to throw away their freedom, maybe their lives, for children they'd never met. Last chance to walk away, Thunder said. Nobody thinks less of you. Nobody moved. This goes sideways. We're all doing hard time. Engines revved in response. We might not all come home. Reaper's voice cut through. Then we die for something that matters. Thunder nodded. Started his bike. The others fell in formation, combat spacing, rally points already established, fallback positions memorized. They rolled out slow. 50 Harleys carrying 50 broken protectors toward a war the law couldn't fight and society wouldn't acknowledge. They rode north into high desert, pavement giving way to dirt roads, civilization disappearing behind them. Ahead, somewhere in the wilderness where cell towers died and help never came, a compound waited, guarded, defended, full of children being sold like livestock and men who thought power made them safe. Those men were about to learn different. Thunder led the pack through canyon shadows and creek beds. They moved without headlights, silent as death. Combat patrol patterns ingrained so deep they didn't need commands. Reaper rode point, Chains covered rear. Fire teams formed naturally, every man knowing his position, his responsibility, his role in the violence coming. The sun beat down, sweat soaked through leather, dust covered chrome. They didn't stop, didn't slow. This was a combat insertion, speed and surprise and overwhelming force. The same tactics that cleared buildings in Ramadi, except this time the building held children instead of insurgents. This time, the mission was rescue instead of kill. This time failure meant 20 kids would die, and the iron vultures would become the monsters they'd been fighting. 10 miles out, Thunder called a halt. They pulled into a box canyon. Natural cover, hidden from aerial surveillance. He spread maps across his tank, the blood-written SOS smeared red across Arizona geography. Fitting. This whole state was about to bleed. Fire teams, Thunder said. Alpha secures the perimeter. Bravo takes the main house. Charlie handles extraction. Delta handles cleanup, Chains finished. Meaning witnesses. Thunder met his eyes. Meaning we don't leave evidence. No faces on cameras, no fingerprints, no DNA. We're ghosts. And the traffickers? The question hung there. The real question. The one that separated soldiers from vigilantes. Kill or capture. Justice or revenge. The line they'd all crossed before in other deserts under other flags. But this time there were no orders from above, no rules of engagement, no Geneva Convention, just them and the choice. Thunder looked at his brothers, saw the same cold rage he felt burning in 50 pairs of eyes. These men had all watched injustice win, while good men followed rules written by people who never saw battle. They'd watched politicians negotiate with terrorists, watched judges free monsters on technicalities, watched the system fail over and over while innocents paid the price. We take out anyone who resists, Thunder said carefully. Anyone who threatens the kids. Anyone who picks up a weapon. He paused. But we're not executioners. We're extractors. Save the children. Burn the evidence. Disappear. It was the right answer, the moral answer, but Thunder saw disappointment flicker across some faces. These men wanted blood. They'd earned it, paid for it in scars and nightmares and years of watching evil prosper. But Thunder needed them to be soldiers, not monsters, because the moment they became monsters, Lily's faith in them died. And maybe that faith was the only thing keeping any of them human. They moved out in tactical formation. 5 miles, then 2, then 1. The compound appeared through heat shimmer like a mirage. Big ranch house, 3 barns, perimeter fence, guard towers, professional security, not amateur hour. Thunder glassed it through binoculars, counted 6 guards visible, probably more inside. Weapons, rifles, sidearms, radios, military or police training. This wasn't some backwoods operation. This was organized crime with infrastructure, which meant the girl had been right. Important people protected this. Important people were about to lose everything. Thunder signaled, the Vulture split, Alpha Team circling wide, Bravo moving to assault positions, Charlie ready with exfil vehicles. Delta spread for suppression, 50 men becoming one weapon aimed at a target that would never see them coming. The sun dropped toward horizon, orange light bleeding across desert. In 30 minutes it would be dark enough to move, dark enough to disappear into. Thunder checked his watch, checked his weapon, checked the photo Lily had drawn of the barn where kids slept. His hands didn't shake. They'd shaken after Kandahar, after seeing what Taliban fighters did to village children. After coming home to parades and speeches while nightmares chewed through his sleep. But now, facing real evil again, his hands were steady. Because this time he wasn't following orders. This time he was writing them. Reaper appeared at his shoulder. "We're set. Just say when." Thunder looked at the compound, at the barn where children waited, at the last place Lily had seen her sister alive. He thought about 12-year-old girls writing SOS in their own blood because the world had failed them so completely that outlaws seemed safer than civilization. He thought about 20 kids who'd given up hoping for rescue. Time to prove them wrong. "We go at dark," Thunder said. "No mercy for anyone who stands between us and those children." Reaper nodded, disappeared back into desert shadows. Thunder waited, watching the compound, watching guards change shifts, watching evil go about its business like it was invincible. It wasn't. It was just protected by people who'd forgotten that sometimes the wolves guard the sheep, and sometimes the wolves get tired of asking permission. Darkness fell fast, desert night swallowing the world. Thunder checked his watch one last time. 0 hour. He keyed his radio. "All teams, execute." 50 shadows moved as one. The assault began in silence. The first guard never saw them coming. He dropped without a sound, tranquilizer dart finding his neck in darkness. Thunder watched through night vision as the body crumpled beside the north fence line. Alpha Team moved past the fallen guard like water flowing around stone. 60 seconds into the operation, and they were already inside the perimeter. No alarms, no shots fired, just shadows swallowing a compound built on stolen children. Thunder advanced with Bravo Team toward the main house. His boots made no sound on hard-packed dirt. 15 years of combat had taught him how to move through hostile territory, how to become part of the darkness, how to kill quietly. The skills hadn't faded. They'd just been waiting for a mission that mattered. Reaper's voice crackled in his earpiece. "Charlie Team in position at the barn. I count 19 heat signatures inside. Kids." Thunder's chest tightened. 19. Lily had said 20. Either she'd miscounted or one child was already gone, already sold, already disappeared into the kind of hell that didn't leave bodies behind. "Hold position," Thunder whispered into his radio. "Wait for my signal." He reached the main house, 2-story ranch style, expensive. Solar panels on the roof, security cameras covering every angle. The kind of place that screamed legitimate business. Perfect camouflage for evil. Thunder's team spread out, 4 men, all former Force Recon. They'd cleared houses in Fallujah together. This was just another door, just another room full of enemies. Except this time, the enemies wore civilian clothes instead of keffiyehs. Thunder tested the back door, locked. He pulled a Slim Jim from his vest. 15 seconds. The lock clicked. He eased the door open. Kitchen, dark, empty. Smell of grease and old coffee. Normal. Too normal. Thunder hated normal. Normal was where ambushes lived. They moved through the kitchen into a hallway, expensive artwork on walls, hardwood floors that creaked under tactical boots, voices from upstairs. Male. Relaxed. Laughing about something. Thunder's jaw clenched. These men were comfortable, safe in their compound, protected by badges and bribes and the kind of money that made laws disappear. Not tonight. Thunder took the stairs slow, one at a time, testing each step for creaks. Behind him, his team flowed like smoke. At the top, a hallway stretched into darkness. Light bleeding from under one door, voices louder now. Thunder recognized the greasy man's laugh, the trafficker from the truck stop, the one who'd called Lily inventory. Thunder's hand moved to his sidearm, drew it smooth, finger along the frame. Not on the trigger, not yet. He approached the door, listened. 3 voices, maybe 4, discussing transport schedules, delivery dates, market prices for different ages, clinical language, business speak, like they were trading cattle instead of children. Thunder's vision narrowed, red creeping in at the edges, the same rage that had almost gotten him court-martialed in Kandahar, the same fury that turned good Marines into war criminals. He breathed through it, forced himself cold. Emotional operators made mistakes. Mistakes got brothers killed. He kicked the door. The room exploded into chaos. 4 men at a table, cards and cash scattered. The greasy trafficker reaching for a pistol. Thunder's team flooded in, professional violence, controlled, precise. The trafficker's hand never reached his weapon. Thunder's boot caught him in the chest, sent him sprawling. The other 3 men froze, hands rising, recognizing the look in Thunder's eyes, the look that said they were already dead. On the floor, Thunder's voice was ice. Face down, hands behind your heads. They complied. Fast, terror overriding any thought of resistance. Thunder's team secured them. Zip ties, hoods, standard prisoner handling. Thunder stood over the greasy man. Let him see through the hood's thin fabric. Let him understand how badly he'd miscalculated. Where are the children? Thunder asked quietly. Fuck you. Thunder's boot came down on the man's hand, not breaking, just pressure, just promise. Where are the children? You're dead. You're all dead. You know who owns this place? Don't care. More pressure, bones grinding. The children, the trafficker screamed. The barn! They're in the fucking barn! Jesus Christ! Thunder released the pressure, keyed his radio. Charlie team, you're clear to extract. Reaper's response came back immediate. Copy! Moving now! Thunder looked down at the 4 men on expensive hardwood floors. These weren't soldiers, weren't terrorists, just businessmen who'd found a profitable product in a system too corrupt to stop them. Part of Thunder wanted to execute them right here. Put bullets in their heads and call it justice. But that wasn't the mission. The mission was the children. Everything else was just noise. Sweep the rest of the house, Thunder ordered. Anyone else gets secured. No killing unless they force it. His team moved out. Thunder stayed with the prisoners, listening to them breathe, listening to their fear. It didn't satisfy him the way he'd hoped. Revenge never did. It just left you standing in other people's blood, wondering if you'd become the thing you were fighting. His radio crackled, Reaper's voice, strained. Thunder, you need to see this. Something in his tone made Thunder's blood run cold. What is it? Just get to the barn. Now. Thunder left 2 men guarding the prisoners, moved fast through the house, out the back door, across hard-packed dirt toward a large barn illuminated by security lights. Charlie team stood outside, weapons lowered, nobody moving, nobody speaking. Thunder approached. Report. Reaper turned. His face was sheet white, eyes haunted. The look of a man who'd just seen something that broke him. You need to prep yourself, brother. For what? For what we're about to find. Thunder pushed past him. Through the barn doors, inside industrial fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The smell hit him first. Unwashed bodies. Fear. Something worse underneath. Something chemical. Medical. Then he saw them. 19 children. Ages ranging from maybe 8 to 15. Sitting on thin mattresses laid across concrete floors. Every single one stared at him with empty eyes. Not scared, not hopeful, just empty. The look of people who'd had their humanity stripped away one violation at a time. Thunder's knees almost buckled. He'd seen child soldiers in Afghanistan, kids with AK-47s and dead eyes. But this was different. These children hadn't been weaponized. They'd been commodified, turned into products, reduced to inventory numbers and price tags. A small girl in the corner held a stuffed rabbit missing one eye. She looked maybe 9. Bruises covered her arms. She stared at Thunder without recognition, without reaction, like he was just another adult who'd come to hurt her. Thunder forced himself to breathe, to think, to be the leader these children needed instead of the broken Marine who wanted to burn the world down. "We're here to help," he said quietly. Gentle voice, non-threatening. "Nobody's going to hurt you anymore." None of them moved. None of them believed him. Why would they? How many times had adults promised safety before delivering pain? Reaper appeared beside Thunder. "We need to move fast. Guards will be doing rounds soon." Thunder nodded, turned to his team. "Get them ready for transport, blankets, water. Anyone who can't walk gets carried." He paused, met every man's eyes. "And if any of you see something that makes you want to go back to that house and execute those men, remember the mission. These kids need us rational, not righteous." His team moved, gentle hands, soft voices. Former soldiers becoming something softer, something protective. They wrapped children in blankets, offered water bottles, picked up the ones too weak or traumatized to stand. Thunder knelt beside the girl with the rabbit. "What's your name, sweetheart?" She stared at him, silent, then whispered so quietly he almost missed it. "Emma." "Emma. That's pretty." Thunder kept his voice steady even though his heart was tearing itself apart. "I'm looking for someone. A girl named Lily. You know Lily?" Emma's eyes widened, first sign of emotion. "Lily ran away." "I know, she's safe now. She told me her sister was here. You know her sister?" Emma pointed across the barn, at a girl maybe 14, dark hair, same eyes as Lily. She sat alone on a mattress, arms wrapped around her knees, rocking slowly. Thunder's chest clenched. Lily's sister, the 20th child. Thunder crossed the barn, knelt beside her. "Your name's Maya?" The girl's rocking stopped. Her head turned slowly, eyes focusing on Thunder like she was seeing through fog. "How do you know my name?" "Your sister sent me." Maya's face crumpled. "Lily's dead. They killed her." "No, she's alive. She jumped from a van at a truck stop. She found us. She told us about this place, about you." Tears started falling, silent tears, just like her sister. "You're lying." Thunder pulled out his phone, showed her a photo Chains had taken an hour ago, Lily asleep on the clubhouse couch, wrapped in Thunder's leather cut, safe. Maya stared at the image. Her hand shook as she reached for the phone, touched the screen like she could reach through and hold her sister. "She's really alive?" "Really alive. And waiting for you." Maya broke. Years of trauma releasing in racking sobs. Thunder held her while she cried. This 14-year-old child who'd survived horrors that would shatter grown men, who'd watched her little sister escape and thought she'd never see her again. Around them, the iron vultures worked quietly, getting children ready to move, erasing evidence, gathering intelligence. Every man avoiding eye contact because if they looked at each other, they'd see their own rage reflected, their own desire to abandon the mission and go back to that house with knives and gasoline. Thunder's radio crackled. Chain's voice. "We got a problem. 3 vehicles approaching from the south. Fast. Maybe 5 minutes out." Thunder cursed. "Reinforcements? Or buyers? Either way, we're about to have company." "How many?" "Looks like a dozen. Maybe more." Thunder did the math. 50 iron vultures, maybe 20 hostiles total if you counted the compound guards and incoming vehicles. Good odds in a straight fight. But with 19 traumatized children in the crossfire, good odds meant nothing. One stray bullet could kill a kid, one grenade could collapse the barn. "All teams, prep for emergency exfil," Thunder ordered. "We move in 3 minutes. Ready or not?" The vultures accelerated. Kids who couldn't walk got slung over shoulders in firemen's carries. The ones who could walk got herded into tight groups. Thunder lifted Emma. She weighed nothing, all bone and terror wrapped in a blanket. Maya stayed close, gripping Thunder's vest like a lifeline. They moved toward the barn doors, Thunder's mind racing through scenarios. The compound had one road in and out. The incoming vehicles would block it, which meant going cross-country, through desert, at night, with children. Not ideal. But nothing about this mission had been ideal from the start. They exited the barn, night air cold against sweat-soaked skin. In the distance, headlights cut through darkness, getting closer. Thunder's team formed a defensive perimeter, weapons ready, nobody firing yet, nobody breaking silence. "Trucks are loaded," Reaper reported, "but we've only got space for maybe 12 kids in the vehicles. Rest will have to ride on bikes." Thunder looked at the approaching headlights, then at 19 children who'd just started believing in rescue. "Double up, put kids on every bike, and anyone who argues gets left behind." No one argued. The vultures had all signed up for this knowing the cost, knowing they might die. Adding a child to their bike didn't change the math, just gave them something worth dying for. Thunder secured Emma on his Harley. She clung to him, small arms wrapped around his chest. Maya climbed on behind Reaper. The other children distributed across bikes, some crying, some silent, all terrified, all trusting outlaws because they had no other choice. "Mount up," Thunder ordered. "We ride hard and fast. Don't stop for anything. Rally point is the canyon 10 miles north." Engines roared to life. 50 Harleys, 19 children, one chance to disappear before the reinforcements arrived. Thunder kicked his bike into gear. Emma's grip tightened. He could feel her heart hammering against his back. "Hold on tight, sweetheart," Thunder said. "This is going to be rough." They pulled out just as the first vehicle crested the hill, headlights sweeping across the compound. Thunder saw muzzle flashes, heard the crack of rifles, rounds zipping through darkness. His team returned fire. Controlled bursts, suppressive, not aiming to kill, just buying time. The vultures scattered into desert night. No headlights, just moonlight and muscle memory. Thunder knew this terrain. They'd scouted it for hours. Every wash, every canyon, every escape route. He led his brothers through shadows and arroyos while bullets chewed up dirt behind them. Emma buried her face against his back, crying, terrified. Thunder kept one hand on the throttle, the other arm wrapped around her, holding her safe, refusing to let go even as his Harley bucked over rough ground. Behind them, the compound erupted into chaos. More gunfire, shouting, vehicles trying to pursue. But the iron vultures knew how to disappear, how to use terrain, how to become ghosts. By the time the traffickers organized pursuit, 50 bikes and 19 children had vanished into wilderness. They rode for 30 minutes, hard and fast, no brakes, no stopping, just distance between them and evil. Thunder's arms ached from holding Emma, his hands cramped from gripping handlebars. But he didn't slow down, couldn't slow down, not until they reached safety. The canyon appeared ahead, tall rock walls blocking moonlight, natural cover, defensible position. Thunder led the pack inside. They pulled to a stop in a box canyon with only one entrance, perfect ambush site if anyone followed. Emma climbed off, shaking, legs barely supporting her. Thunder caught her before she fell, lowered her gently to sand and stone. Around them, children stumbled off bikes. Some collapsed. Some stood frozen. All looked shell-shocked. Rescued but not yet safe. Free but still imprisoned by trauma. Chains appeared with water bottles, protein bars, basic supplies they'd stashed during recon. "We got maybe an hour before they organize a real search. Local cops will be scrambling, maybe state police." Thunder nodded, looked at 19 children who needed medical attention, therapy, years of healing. "We can't take them to a hospital." "Why not?" "Because some of those cops might be dirty. We don't know who we can trust." Reaper joined them. "So what's the play?" Thunder had been asking himself that same question since the moment Lily wrote SOS in blood. Saving the children was only half the mission. Keeping them safe afterward was the other half, the harder half. "We need help," Thunder said slowly. "Someone outside the system, someone who won't ask questions." "You got someone in mind?" Thunder thought about the networks he'd built over 3 years, other MCs, veterans groups, People who understood that sometimes the law couldn't help. Sometimes you needed outlaws. Yeah, he said finally. I know someone. He pulled out his phone. Encrypted messaging app, typed quickly, sent the message, waited. 30 seconds later, a response came back. How many kids? Thunder typed. 19. Need safe house, medical, no authorities. The response took longer this time. Thunder watched the canyon entrance, listening for engines, for helicopters, for the sound of pursuit closing in. Finally, location. Thunder sent coordinates, waited. The response came back fast, 6 hours. Hang tight. Thunder pocketed his phone. Help's coming, but we need to hold this position until dawn. What if they find us first? Chains asked. Then we make sure the kids get out alive. Thunder met his eyes. Whatever it costs. Nobody argued. They'd all known from the start this mission might end in blood. Might end with them dead or imprisoned. But they'd also known some things mattered more than survival. Like 19 children who'd stopped believing in rescue until outlaws proved them wrong. The vultures set up defensive positions, rotating watch, weapons ready. Children huddled together in the center of the canyon, wrapped in blankets, sharing water, whispering to each other, slowly starting to believe they might actually be safe. Thunder sat with his back against canyon wall. Emma curled up beside him, using his leg as a pillow. Maya sat nearby, both sisters finally together, finally safe. For now. Reaper dropped down beside Thunder, lit a cigarette, offered one. Thunder took it. They smoked in silence for a while. Just two Marines watching darkness, waiting for enemies, protecting the innocent. You know we can't go back, Reaper said quietly. After this, the clubhouse, our lives, it's all gone. Thunder nodded. Yeah. Was it worth it? Thunder looked at Emma sleeping against his leg, at Maya watching her sister breathe, at 17 other children who were alive because 50 outlaws decided one child's SOS mattered more than their freedom. Yeah, Thunder said. It was worth it. Reaper smiled, grim and tired. Good, because I think we're about to get really famous. He pulled out his phone, showed Thunder a news alert. Breaking story. Armed biker gang attacks ranch in northern Arizona. Multiple casualties, children missing, manhunt underway. Thunder read it twice. The media was already spinning the narrative, making them villains, making the traffickers victims. Of course they were. The system protected its own, and the Iron Vultures had just declared war on the system. They're calling us kidnappers, Chains said. He'd been reading over Thunder's shoulder. Saying we assaulted law enforcement officers. Saying those kids were rescued earlier and we stole them. Thunder's jaw clenched. Of course they are. Some of those kids are going to talk, tell the truth. And who's going to believe them? Traumatized children versus law enforcement statements? Thunder shook his head. The fix is already in. Maya spoke up. Soft voice, but certain. I'll tell them what really happened, what those men did to us. Thunder looked at her. This 14-year-old girl who'd survived hell. They'll destroy you, put you on trial, question everything, make you prove it. I don't care. Maya's voice hardened. I spent 2 years being silent, letting them win. I'm done being silent. Thunder felt something shift in his chest. This child had more courage than most soldiers he'd served with, more conviction, more willingness to fight even when the fight seemed impossible. Okay, Thunder said quietly. But first we get you somewhere safe. Then we figure out how to make people listen. Hours crawled past. No pursuit appeared. The children slept fitfully, nightmares causing them to wake screaming. The vultures took turns comforting them, these hardened warriors becoming surrogate fathers and brothers and protectors, holding traumatized kids, whispering reassurances, being the safe adults these children had never known. Thunder watched his brothers transform, saw them softening, saw the humanity they'd buried under leather and violence and years of pretending they didn't care. They cared. They'd always cared. They just hadn't found anything worth caring about. Until 19 children wrote their names in blood and silence. Dawn broke cold and red across the desert. Thunder stood, checked his watch. 5 hours since they'd received the message. 1 hour until help arrived. Assuming help was still coming. Assuming the person on the other end hadn't decided 19 children wasn't worth the heat. His radio crackled, chains on perimeter watch. Got movement, 3 vehicles approaching from the north. Thunder's hand went to his sidearm. Hostile? Can't tell yet, they're flying white flags. White flags, the universal signal for parley. Thunder climbed to higher ground, glassed the approaching vehicles through binoculars. 3 SUVs black, civilian plates, moving slow, cautious. The lead vehicle's window rolled down, a hand extended holding actual white fabric. Thunder keyed his radio. Stand down, but stay ready. The vehicles pulled into the canyon, stopped 50 yards out, doors opened. A woman climbed out of the lead SUV, 50 years old, gray hair, hard eyes. Thunder recognized her immediately. Sarah Chen, former Army nurse, ran an underground network helping veterans with PTSD, also helped people who needed to disappear. Thunder had met her 2 years ago at a VA hospital. She'd seen through his bullshit about being fine, offered him help. He'd refused. Now he needed that help desperately. Sarah walked forward, hands visible, non-threatening. She stopped 10 feet from Thunder, looked past him at 19 children wrapped in blankets. Her expression never changed, just took in the scene, calculated, assessed. You weren't kidding about needing help, she said. Can you do it? Get 19 traumatized children medical attention without alerting authorities? Relocate them somewhere safe. Keep them hidden from traffickers and cops. Sarah smiled, cold and certain. Yeah, I can do it. What's the cost? The cost is you trust me, completely. No questions, no second guessing. She paused. And you accept that some of these kids might not want to stay hidden, might want to testify, fight back. Thunder glanced at Maya. She was watching them, listening. I'm counting on it. Sarah nodded, gestured to her vehicles. We've got medical supplies, food, clean clothes. We'll take them to a safe house 3 hours from here, get them stabilized, then figure out next steps. The media's already spinning this, Thunder said, calling us kidnappers. I know, I've been watching. Sarah's expression hardened, which is why we need these children's stories, testimony, evidence, proof of what happened to them. They're kids, traumatized kids. Oh, they're survivors, and survivors have power. Sarah looked at the children again, but only if we give them a platform to use it. Thunder understood what she wasn't saying. This wasn't just about rescue anymore. This was about exposure, about dragging the trafficking network into sunlight, about making sure the men who'd hurt these children faced consequences. But that meant putting children through more trauma, more interrogation, more reliving of horrors. Give them the choice, Thunder said. Don't force anything, but if they want to fight, we support them. Sarah nodded. Fair enough? They loaded the children into the SUV's slow process. Gentle hands, Sarah's team were all medical professionals, former military. They knew how to handle trauma, how to create safety. The children went willingly, more willing to trust a woman than men. Thunder understood. After what they'd experienced, male adults probably triggered nothing but fear. Emma hugged Thunder before climbing into an SUV. Thank you, she whispered. Thunder knelt down, met her eyes. You're going to be okay. Sarah will take care of you. Will I see you again? The question stabbed through Thunder's chest, because the honest answer was probably not. He was a wanted man now, a fugitive. The iron vultures would be hunted, scattered. Some would be caught. Some would die running. Thunder himself might not survive the week, but he couldn't tell a 9-year-old that truth. Maybe, he said. Gentle lie. Necessary deception. But even if you don't, remember you're safe now. Remember you survived. Emma nodded, climbed into the SUV. Maya was last. She approached Thunder, didn't hug him, just stood there, 14 years old and harder than steel. I'm going to testify, she said, against all of them. I don't care what it costs. It'll cost everything, Thunder warned. Good. They took everything from me. Time to return the favor. Thunder saw himself in her eyes, the same rage, the same need for justice, the same willingness to burn the world down if that's what it took. He wanted to protect her from that path, Wanted to tell her revenge wouldn't heal her, wouldn't make her whole. But he couldn't, because he'd walked that path himself, still walked it, and sometimes revenge was the only thing keeping broken people alive. Then we'll back you, Thunder said. Whatever you need. We'll make sure people hear you. Maya nodded, climbed into the last SUV. Sarah shut the door, turned to Thunder. You know you're all over the news. They're calling you domestic terrorists. Are we? You tell me. You assaulted a private compound, took children without legal authority, shot at law enforcement officers. Sarah paused. Of course, those law enforcement officers were protecting a child trafficking ring, so maybe terrorist isn't quite the right word. What is the right word? Sarah smiled. Vigilante, outlaw, guardian. She shrugged. Depends who's writing the story. Help us write the right one. That's the plan. Sarah climbed into her SUV. I'll be in touch. Encrypted channels only. And Thunder? Watch your back. They're not going to stop hunting you. Let them hunt. The SUVs pulled out, disappeared into desert morning, taking 19 children toward safety, toward healing, toward whatever came next. Thunder watched until dust settled, until silence returned, until it was just 50 iron vultures standing in a box canyon facing the consequences of their choices. Reaper lit a cigarette. So what now? Thunder looked at his brothers. 50 men who'd just thrown away their lives for children they didn't know. 50 veterans who'd finally found a war worth fighting. They were all watching him, waiting for orders, waiting for the next mission. But Thunder didn't have a next mission, just consequences. Just manhunts and arrest warrants and whatever came after you declared war on a system bigger than any MC. Now we disappear, Thunder said. Split up, scatter, make them work for every arrest. Or, Chain said carefully, we finish what we started. Thunder turned. Meaning? Meaning there's more than one trafficking ring in Arizona, more than one compound, more than one group of kids waiting for rescue. Chains met his eyes. We saved 19. How many more are out there? The question hung in dawn air. How many more children were trapped in similar hells? How many more traffickers operated under law enforcement protection? How many more times could 50 outlaws write their own SOS in blood and fire? Thunder looked at his brothers, saw the same question in their eyes. They'd crossed the line, become criminals in the eyes of the law. But they'd also tasted something they hadn't felt since coming home from war. Purpose. We'd be hunted for the rest of our lives, Thunder said. We're already hunted, Reaper countered. We'd never be able to go home. Where's home? The clubhouse? That's gone. Our families? Most of us don't have any. Reaper gestured at the vultures. These men are our family. This mission is our home. Thunder wanted to argue, wanted to find the flaw in the logic. But he couldn't, because Reaper was right. They had nothing left to lose. No civilian lives to return to, no normal waiting for them. Just the choice between running forever or fighting for something that mattered. It's a suicide mission, Thunder said quietly. Everything worth doing is. Thunder looked at each man, gave them the chance to object, to walk away, to choose survival over purpose. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. They'd all voted with their presence, their weapons, their willingness to burn for children who couldn't save themselves. 50 outlaws, 50 broken protectors, 50 men who'd finally found the war they'd been training for all along. Thunder nodded slowly. Okay, then we do this right. We build a network, find the other rings, document everything, and we make damn sure the world knows what's happening to these kids. How? Chains asked. We tell the story they don't want told. We use Maya's testimony, Emma's scars, every piece of evidence we can gather. Thunder's voice hardened. And we make them face what they've been protecting. Reaper smiled. You're talking about war. I'm talking about exposure, transparency, dragging this nightmare into daylight so bright they can't hide anymore. They'll fight back. Let them. The vultures stood in dawn light, understanding the choice they'd just made. Understanding it meant sacrifice, pain, probably death. But also understanding it meant something, meant their scars and trauma and years of feeling useless finally had purpose. They were no longer just survivors. They were protectors. Thunder's phone buzzed. Encrypted message, From Sarah. Just 2 words. They talked. Thunder's chest tightened. The children had started telling their stories, started exposing the network, started fighting back. Another message. Maya gave names, locations, everything she remembered. Thunder typed back, "Can you protect her?" The response came fast. "Trying. But she's not hiding anymore. She wants to fight." Thunder understood. Maya had found her voice. After 2 years of silence, after 2 years of being inventory, she was done being quiet. Done letting them win, just like her sister. Thunder looked at his brothers. "The kids are talking, giving testimony, naming names." "Good," Chain said. "It's going to put them in danger. Paint targets on their backs. Then we make sure nobody gets close enough to pull the trigger." Thunder nodded. "New mission forming. Protect the children. Not just physically, but protect their voices, their stories. Their right to be heard even when powerful people wanted them silent." His phone buzzed again. Different number. Unknown. Thunder almost didn't answer. Then something made him. "Yeah?" A man's voice. Cultured, educated, cold. "Thunder, isn't it? Or should I call you Jace Mercer, formerly of the United States Marine Corps?" Thunder's blood went ice. "Who is this?" "Someone with a vested interest in the children you stole. Someone who'd very much like them returned, undamaged." "They weren't stolen. They were rescued." The man laughed. "Semantics. The point is, you've cost me a great deal of money, disrupted a very profitable operation, made powerful people very unhappy." "Good. I'm calling to offer you a deal. Return the children. Walk away. We'll forget this ever happened. You and your biker friends can go back to whatever pathetic lives you were living." Thunder's grip tightened on the phone. "And if we don't? Then we hunt you. Every single one of you. We use every resource at our disposal. Law enforcement, private contractors, people who make your Marine training look like summer camp." The man's voice dropped. "And when we find you, we'll make sure you watch each other die slowly, painfully, while knowing you threw away your lives for children who'll be back in our custody within a month." Thunder was silent, measuring the threat, calculating odds. The man on the phone wasn't bluffing. This was real power, real resources, real danger. "You still there?" the man asked. "Yeah, just thinking." "Smart. So what's it going to be?" Thunder looked at his brothers, at 50 men who'd already voted with their presence, who'd already chosen death over surrender, who'd already decided some things mattered more than survival. "Here's my counteroffer," Thunder said quietly. "You and everyone protecting your operation can go fuck yourselves. We're coming for all of it, every compound, every trafficker, every dirty cop and bought politician. And when we're done, the only thing left of your organization will be ashes and prison sentences." Silence on the line. Then the man laughed. "You're signing your own death warrant. Wouldn't be the first time. You can't win this. You're criminals, terrorists. Nobody's going to believe you over us." "We'll see." Thunder paused. "Oh, and one more thing. We've got testimony, evidence, names, everything the children remember about your operation, and we're about to make it very public." The man's voice changed, lost its cultured calm. "You're bluffing." "Am I? Check the news in about 6 hours. See what Maya Johnson has to say about the compound, about the men who hurt her, about the cops who looked the other way." Thunder smiled cold. "She remembers everything, and she's done being quiet." Thunder hung up, turned off the phone, removed the battery, threw all 3 pieces in different directions. The vultures watched him, understanding what had just happened, what line had just been crossed. "That was stupid," Chain said. But he was smiling. "Probably," Thunder agreed. "They're going to come at us hard now." "Let them." Reaper stepped forward. "What's the play?" Thunder looked at the canyon walls, a desert stretching in every direction, at 50 brothers who'd just committed to a war they couldn't win through conventional means. But maybe conventional wasn't the path. "We go underground," Thunder said. "Split into cells, 5-man teams. Each team targets a different part of the network. We gather evidence, rescue kids, feed information to Sarah's network and anyone else who will listen. We become ghosts they can't kill because they can't find us." Guerrilla warfare, Reaper said, like Afghanistan. Exactly like Afghanistan, except this time we're the insurgents. The vultures absorbed that, understood it. They'd spent years fighting insurgents. Now they'd become one. The irony wasn't lost on anyone, but neither was the necessity. When do we start? Chains asked. Thunder looked at the sun climbing over canyon walls. At a new day beginning, at the rest of his life starting down a path he couldn't turn back from. Now, he said, we start now. They divided into teams, assigned targets, distributed weapons and supplies, established dead drops and encrypted communication protocols. 50 Marines and Rangers and soldiers falling back into the training that had kept them alive through deployments. Except this time the enemy wore suits instead of turbans, drove luxury cars instead of Toyotas, hid behind badges instead of Qurans. But evil was evil, and the mission remained the same. Protect those who can't protect themselves. Thunder's team was 5 men. Reaper, Chains, 2 others called Ghost and Priest, former Force Recon. They'd cleared buildings in Fallujah together, survived firefights that should have killed them, come home broken and tried to pretend they were whole. Now they had purpose again. First target? Reaper asked. Thunder pulled out the list Maya had provided through Sarah. Locations she remembered, other compounds, other operations. There's a warehouse outside Phoenix. Maya said they brought kids there for processing before distribution. Processing, Chain spat the word. Fucking animals. Animals we're going to put down, Thunder said. But smart, quiet. We gather evidence first, then we strike. They mounted their bikes. 5 Harleys. 5 men. 1 mission. The other teams scattered in different directions. 45 brothers heading to 45 different battles, all fighting the same war. Thunder kicked his Harley to life. Emma's blood still stained his gas tank. SOS written in desperation. He'd never wash it off, never let himself forget why this started, why it mattered. A 12-year-old girl had trusted outlaws when society failed her. Now outlaws would make sure that trust meant something. They rode south toward Phoenix, toward the warehouse Maya had described, toward another compound full of children waiting for rescue they'd stopped believing would come. Thunder felt the familiar pre-combat calm settle over him, the cold clarity, the focus that came before violence. He'd spent 15 years trying to escape this feeling. Now he welcomed it back like an old friend, because some wars never end. They just find new fronts, and Thunder had finally found his. The sun climbed higher, desert heat building. Somewhere ahead, traffickers were moving children like inventory. Cops were taking bribes to look the other way. Wealthy men were shopping for innocents to destroy. The network was vast, protected, confident. But they'd made one mistake. They'd let Lily escape, and Lily had found wolves who still remembered how to hunt. Thunder's phone buzzed. New burner, encrypted message from Sarah. He checked it while riding, eyes flicking between road and screen. Maya did it. Gave full interview to independent journalist. Going public tomorrow. Thunder's chest tightened. Tomorrow the world would hear what happened to these children. Tomorrow the fight went public. Tomorrow everything changed. Another message. She named Senator Morrison, Sheriff Davies, Judge Crawford. Thunder almost lost control of his bike. Senator Morrison, one of the most powerful politicians in Arizona. Sheriff Davies ran 3 counties. Judge Crawford had been on the bench for 20 years. Maya had just gone after the top of the food chain. Thunder typed back, "Is she safe?" The response took too long. Finally, "For now. But we need to move her. They'll come for her." Thunder's mind raced. Maya had just painted the biggest target in the world on her back. Every dirty cop, every bought politician, every wealthy predator who'd used the trafficking network. They'd all want her dead before her story spread. He typed, "Where is she?" Sarah sent coordinates. Safe house outside Sedona, 2 hours north of Phoenix. Thunder looked at his team, at the warehouse mission waiting ahead, then back at the coordinates. The mission changed. "New target," Thunder said into his comm. Maya just went nuclear on the network. Named senator, sheriff, judge. She's exposed. They're coming for her. "The warehouse?" Reaper asked. "Fuck the warehouse. Maya's more important. She's the voice, the testimony, the evidence. She dies. This whole thing dies with her. His team didn't argue. They understood priorities, understood that sometimes you had to abandon the tactical objective for the strategic one. Maya alive meant the fight continued. Maya dead meant the network won. They turned north, throttles wide open, racing toward Sedona, racing toward a 14-year-old girl who'd just declared war on some of the most powerful people in Arizona. Thunder's phone buzzed again. Different number. He checked it. Voice message. He played it on speaker. Maya's voice. Young, scared, but certain. Thunder, it's Maya. I know what I'm doing is dangerous. I know they'll come after me, but I can't be quiet anymore. Lily wrote SOS in her blood. I'm writing it in my words. Whatever happens, thank you. For hearing us. For believing us. For being the kind of men who save kids instead of hurt them. The message ended. Thunder's hands tightened on the handlebars. This 14-year-old child had more courage than most Marines he'd served with. More conviction. More willingness to sacrifice for others. She deserved protection. She deserved justice. She deserved men who would burn the world down before letting anyone silence her. Thunder's team rode hard through Arizona desert. 5 outlaws racing toward a girl who'd decided her voice mattered more than her safety. Behind them, other Iron Vulture teams moved on other targets. The war had started. Shots hadn't been fired yet. But they would be. Because Maya had just guaranteed it. By naming names, by refusing to be quiet, by choosing to fight even when fighting meant dying. Thunder understood that choice. He'd made it in Kandahar. Made it when he decided protecting kids mattered more than following orders. Made it again at that truck stop when Lily wrote SOS in blood. Some choices defined you. Some choices transformed you. Some choices started wars. Maya had made all 3, and the Iron Vultures would make sure her voice echoed loud enough to shatter the silence protecting monsters, even if it cost them everything. Thunder's phone rang. Sarah's voice. Panicked. They're already moving. I've got contacts saying 3 SUVs left Phoenix 30 minutes ago, heading toward our location. How long until they arrive? 90 minutes. Maybe less. Thunder checked his GPS. We're 2 hours out. Silence. Then Sarah's voice. Cold. Determined. Then I guess we're going to have to hold them off until you get here. Sarah, you're not. I'm former Army. My team's all combat vets. We know how to fight. She paused. But Thunder, you better hurry, because I don't know how long we can last against whatever they're sending. The line went dead. Thunder looked at his team, at 4 men who'd followed him through hell, who'd chosen this mission knowing it might kill them, who'd become outlaws to protect the innocent. We've got 90 minutes to cover 2 hours of road, Thunder said. Reaper smiled, cold and certain. Then I guess we better ride like the devil's chasing us. The devil is chasing us. Good, Chains said. Let him catch up, see what happens. They opened their throttles. 5 Harleys screaming across Arizona desert at speeds that would kill them if they crashed. But crashing was just another way to die. And dying while trying to save a child seemed like the best death any of them could hope for. Thunder's world narrowed. Just asphalt and engine roar and the knowledge that somewhere ahead, a 14-year-old girl was about to face men who wanted her dead. Men who thought power made them untouchable. Men who were about to learn different. Because the Iron Vultures had stopped asking permission, stopped following rules, stopped pretending the system worked. They'd become the thing society feared most. Armed men with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. The speedometer climbed past 90, past 100. Desert landscape blurring into streaks of red and tan. Thunder's hands steady on the bars. His mind calculating, planning, preparing for the violence coming. They wouldn't make it in time. The math was brutal. 90 minutes for the enemy, 2 hours for Thunder's team. By the time they arrived, the fight would be over. Sarah and her people would be dead or captured. Maya would be gone. The testimony silenced. Unless. Thunder keyed his radio. All teams, this is a Thunder. Need immediate assistance. Sedona safe house under attack. How many units can redirect? Responses came back fast. Ghost team, 40 minutes out. Hammer team, 35 minutes. Steel team, 50 minutes. Not enough. Not fast enough. Thunder's mind raced. Then he remembered. The local MC Desert Reapers. Not Iron Vultures. Different club. But they'd fought together in Iraq. Shared blood. Shared trauma. Shared the understanding that some things mattered more than club politics. Thunder dialed. A voice answered. Yeah? Rattlesnake, it's Thunder. Thunder. Heard you started a war. Yeah, I need help. What kind? The kind where you might die for a kid you've never met. Silence. Then Rattlesnake laughed. Brother, that's the only kind of help worth giving. Where and when? Thunder sent coordinates, explained the situation. Rattlesnake listened, didn't interrupt, didn't ask stupid questions, just absorbed the mission. We're 15 minutes from Sedona, Rattlesnake said finally. Got 12 brothers with me. We'll hold until you arrive. They're sending professionals, ex-military, well-armed. So are we. Rattlesnake, Thunder, shut up. We're already rolling. See you when you get there. The line went dead. Thunder felt something loosen in his chest. Help was coming. Not enough, not ideal, but enough to maybe keep Maya alive until reinforcements arrived. They rode harder, minutes bleeding past, desert giving way to red rocks and pine trees, Sedona approaching. Thunder checked his watch. 60 minutes since Sarah's call. The enemy should be arriving any second. His phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. She's going to die screaming, and you're going to listen. Then a video started playing. Thunder almost dropped his phone. He pulled over. His team stopped beside him. They all crowded around the screen. Live feed. Interior of the safe house. Sarah and 3 others behind makeshift barricades. Windows shattered. Bullet holes in walls. The fight had already started, and they were losing. Thunder watched Sarah return fire, watched her team trying to hold, but they were outnumbered, outgunned. The attackers were professionals, wearing body armor, using suppressive fire and tactical movement. This wasn't a raid. It was an execution. The feed panned, showed Maya huddled in a back room, holding a gun Sarah had given her, 14 years old and preparing to die fighting. Thunder's vision went red. How far? He asked Reaper. 40 minutes. Make it 20. They mounted, engines screaming, speed climbing past anything safe, past anything rational. Thunder didn't care. Maya was about to die. Sarah was about to die. The whole mission was about to collapse because he'd been too slow, too cautious, too late. Just like Kandahar. Just like the village full of kids he'd arrived at 20 minutes after Taliban executed them. History repeating, trauma looping, the universe giving him another chance to fail another child. Not this time. Thunder pushed his Harley past limits, engine screaming, frame shaking. One wrong move would send him tumbling into oblivion, but standing still would send Maya into a grave. Easy choice. His phone buzzed, Rattlesnake's voice. We're engaged, taking heavy fire. Need support now. Gunfire erupted through the phone, screaming, explosions. The sound of war condensed into a smartphone speaker. Thunder listened to men dying, listened to his brothers fighting, listened to everything falling apart. Then silence. Thunder's heart stopped. Rattlesnake? No response. Rattlesnake! Static. Then a wet cough. Still here. Barely. They're breaching. Can't hold them. Maybe 5 minutes before they're inside. Hold, Thunder ordered. We're almost there. Thunder. Rattlesnake's voice faded. Tell Maya. Tell her she's braver than any Marine I ever served with. The line went dead. Thunder's world crystallized. Cold, clear, focused. The same clarity that came before combat. Before controlled violence. Before doing things that separated men from humans. He was 15 minutes out. Maya had 5. The math didn't work. But math never mattered when children were dying. Thunder keyed his radio, broadcast to every Iron Vulture team in Arizona. This is Thunder. Maya Johnson is about to be executed in Sedona. If you can hear this, converge on these coordinates, weapons free. No prisoners. No mercy. Responses flooded back. Teams redirecting. Brothers answering the call. But they were all too far, all too late. Just like Thunder. He pushed his Harley harder, engine redlining, frame vibrating apart, his team keeping pace. 5 men racing toward a battle already lost, toward a child already dead, toward another failure that would haunt him forever. Thunder's phone buzzed one last time. Video feed, live. The attackers had breached, moving through the safe house. Professionals clearing rooms, bodies on the floor. Sarah's team, Desert Reapers, all dead or dying. Then the camera found Maya, backed into a corner, gun raised, hands shaking, 14 years old and facing death with more courage than most soldiers. An attacker appeared. Weapon aimed. Maya fired first, hit him center mass. He went down. She fired again. Another attacker, another hit. This child warrior fighting like a cornered wolf. But there were too many. A third attacker appeared. Maya's gun clicked empty. She dropped it, raised her hands, met the camera with eyes that held no fear, just defiance. "My name is Maya Johnson," she said clearly, loudly, making sure the camera caught every word. "And I remember everything, every face, every name, every crime. Killing me won't silence me, because Thunder's coming, and he's going to make sure everyone knows what you did." The attacker stepped forward. Maya smiled. The feed cut to black. Thunder screamed, raw, primal, the sound of a man watching everything matter shatter. He pushed his Harley past breaking, past survival, past caring whether he lived or died. Because Maya had believed in him, had trusted him, had died believing he'd finish what she started. Thunder's team rode behind him, silent, grieving, understanding they were racing toward nothing now, just revenge, just blood, just making sure Maya's last words came true. They crested a hill, Sedona spread below, smoke rising from the safe house. Thunder's world went cold. He was too late. He'd failed. Thunder hit the safe house at full speed. Didn't brake, didn't slow, just aimed his Harley at what remained of the front door and let momentum carry him through splintered wood and smoke. He hit the ground rolling, sidearm drawn, eyes scanning through haze for targets, for threats, for Maya's body. The house was a war zone. Bullet holes stitched across walls, blood pooled on hardwood floors, bodies everywhere. Sarah's team. Desert Reapers wearing cuts riddled with rounds. Rattlesnake lay near the kitchen, half his face gone, still gripping his pistol. Dead eyes staring at ceiling like he was searching for answers in the rafters. Thunder moved through the carnage, professional sweep, checking corners, clearing rooms. His team followed, silent, weapons ready. But the attackers were gone, vanished, leaving only corpses and the smell of cordite and copper. He found Sarah in the back bedroom, slumped against the wall. 3 rounds center mass, her hand still reaching toward the closet where Maya had been hiding. Thunder knelt beside her, pressed fingers to her neck. No pulse. But her skin was still warm. Minutes. He'd missed this by minutes. "Thunder!" Reaper's voice from the closet, flat, dead. "You need to see this." Thunder stood, moved to the closet. Reaper pulled the door open. Inside, blood, so much blood, but no body, just blood pooled on the floor, smeared on walls, a trail leading to the window, and something else. Maya's testimony folder, the one Sarah had prepared with all the evidence, all the names, all the documented horrors, lying open, pages scattered, but not destroyed. Just read, like someone had been looking for something specific. Thunder's mind raced. The attackers had taken Maya, not killed her, taken her, which meant she was still alive, still valuable, still a threat they needed to neutralize privately, or she was bait. Thunder's blood went cold. He looked at the folder again, at the way pages were spread, like someone wanted him to see them, wanted him to know exactly what Maya had documented. Every compound, every name, every connection in the trafficking network, including one name Thunder hadn't expected to see, Richard Mercer. Thunder stared at the page, at his own last name typed in black and white, at the connection Maya had uncovered between the trafficking network and someone in his family. Thunder's hands started shaking. Richard Mercer was his uncle, his father's brother. Thunder hadn't seen him in 15 years, not since before Kandahar. Not since Richard had shown up at Thunder's deployment send-off drunk and rambling about business opportunities in Arizona. Thunder had thought he meant real estate. The page detailed Richard's role: money laundering, property acquisition, legal protection. He'd been using his law firm to shield the trafficking network, creating shell companies, buying judges. making evidence disappear. For 20 years, Richard Mercer had been the architect keeping monsters safe, and Thunder had never known. "Brother?" Chains appeared beside him. "What is it?" Thunder couldn't speak, couldn't process. His uncle, his blood, his family had been protecting the men who hurt Maya, who hurt Lily, who hurt 19 children and countless others. The weight of that knowledge crushed down like artillery. Reaper took the folder. "Read the page." His face went stone. "Fuck!" "What?" Chains demanded. "Thunder's uncle. He's part of the network." Reaper looked at Thunder. "Did you know?" Thunder found his voice. Barely. "No." "You sure?" The question landed like a bullet. Thunder met Reaper's eyes, saw suspicion there, saw the calculation, saw his brother wondering if Thunder had been playing them all along, if the rescue was cover, if everything had been a lie. "I haven't spoken to Richard in 15 years, Thunder said, each word careful, controlled. "I didn't know." "But it's your uncle," Chain said. "Your family. So what, you think I'm part of this?" Thunder's voice rose, rage bleeding through. "You think I'd hurt kids? You think I'd protect traffickers?" "I think we just lost Maya because someone knew exactly where she was," Reaper said quietly. "I think those attackers moved like they had inside information. Perfect timing, perfect tactics, like someone told them exactly how to breach." Thunder's world tilted. He understood what Reaper was suggesting, that Thunder had sold them out, that this whole rescue had been a setup, that Maya's death was on Thunder's hands not through failure, but through betrayal. "You think I did this?" Thunder's voice went flat, cold, the same tone he'd used before pulling triggers in Fallujah. Reaper didn't blink. "I think it's a hell of a coincidence your uncle's name shows up in Maya's evidence, and 6 hours later she's taken by professional killers who knew exactly where to find her. I didn't tell anyone." "Maybe you didn't have to. Maybe they've been tracking you, watching you, using you to find the children before you could expose the network." Thunder's hands curled into fists. "You're calling me a traitor." "I'm saying the math doesn't add up." Reaper stepped closer. "I'm saying Sarah's dead, Rattlesnake's dead, 12 Desert Reapers are dead. And the one thing connecting all of it is you." Thunder wanted to swing, wanted to put Reaper through the wall, wanted to prove his innocence with violence, but violence proved nothing, and every second they spent fighting was another second Maya spent in enemy hands. "Believe what you want," Thunder said, "but Maya's still alive, still out there, still waiting for us to finish this." "Or she's bait," Chain said. "Bait to draw us into a trap. Then we spring the trap." Thunder met each man's eyes. "I don't care if you trust me. I don't care if you think I sold you out. But that girl believed in us, died believing we'd save her sister. I'm not leaving her to those animals." Silence. His team measured him, calculated. Thunder could see them weighing loyalty against suspicion, brotherhood against evidence. They'd followed him into hell. Now they were wondering if he'd been leading them there all along. Reaper spoke first. "Show me your phone." "What?" "Your phone. If you didn't tip them off, prove it. Let me see your calls, your messages, everything." Thunder pulled out his burner, handed it over. Reaper checked the call log. The messages. Looking for evidence of betrayal. Thunder stood there letting himself be interrogated by his own brother, feeling the trust they'd built through combat crumble under the weight of one name in a folder. Reaper handed the phone back. "It's clean. You expected different?" "I don't know what to expect anymore." Reaper's voice carried exhaustion. "We're fighting ghosts, people with resources we can't match, power we can't touch. And now we find out one of them is your blood." Thunder understood. The revelation had poisoned everything, made every decision suspect, every coincidence damning. Even if his team believed he hadn't betrayed them, the doubt would linger, corrosive, destructive. "So what now?" Thunder asked. "Now we find Maya," Chain said. "But we do it smart. We assume they're watching, assume they're waiting, assume this is a trap and plan accordingly." Thunder nodded. "Agreed. But we move fast. Every hour she's in their hands is another hour they're hurting her." Ghost appeared from the front room. We got bigger problems. Police scanner just lit up. State police, FBI, Homeland Security. They're converging on Sedona. Someone called in a domestic terrorism event. How long? Reaper asked. 20 minutes. Maybe less. Thunder looked around the safe house, at dead bodies, at weapons, at evidence of a firefight that would have every federal agency in Arizona mobilizing. They needed to disappear. Now. Burn it, Thunder said. Everything, bodies included. We leave nothing that points back to us or Maya's testimony. Brother, these men died for us, Chains protested. Rattlesnake and his crew deserve better than being cremated like evidence. They died protecting a child, Thunder corrected. They'd want us to finish the mission, not get arrested mourning them. Nobody argued. They understood the calculus of war. Honor the dead by completing the mission. Grieve later. Thunder's team moved fast, gasoline from the garage, spread liberally. They gave each body a moment, a nod, silent acknowledgement of sacrifice. Then they lit the match. Flames caught fast, hungry, consuming wood and bodies and evidence. Thunder watched the safe house burn, watched Sarah's body disappear into fire. She'd helped him, believed in him, died trying to protect a child he'd promised to save. Another debt unpaid, another ghost joining the collection. They mounted their bikes, pulled out as sirens wailed in the distance. Fire trucks, police, federal response. Thunder led his team into Red Rock canyons and disappeared like smoke. Behind them, the safe house collapsed, roof caving in, walls folding, erasing the battlefield, leaving only questions and ash. They rode for an hour, no destination, just distance. Finally stopped in a box canyon 20 miles from nowhere, exhausted, covered in soot and blood. Thunder killed his engine, sat in silence while his team dismounted. Nobody spoke. They were all processing, all dealing with failure and death and the revelation that Thunder's family was connected to the enemy. Thunder's phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Then something made him. Yeah? A voice he hadn't heard in 15 years. Hello, Jace. Thunder's blood froze. Richard. You can call me Uncle. We're still family. Family doesn't traffic children. Richard laughed. Cultured. Educated. The same laugh Thunder remembered from childhood barbecues and Christmas dinners. You always were self-righteous, even as a kid, always trying to save things, stray dogs, broken birds, lost causes. What do you want? To offer you a deal. Same one I offered before. Walk away, return the children, disappear. I'll make sure the federal manhunt goes cold. You and your biker friends can vanish into whatever holes you crawled out of. And Maya? The Johnson girl? She's already dead, Jace. Died 20 minutes ago. Bled out from her wounds. Very tragic. Very unfortunate. Thunder's vision tunneled. You're lying. Am I? You want me to send pictures? Proof? I can do that. But I don't think you want those images in your head. Richard's voice softened. She fought hard. I'll give her that. Even bleeding out, she was trying to write testimony on the walls. Quite remarkable, really. Thunder couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Maya was dead. Really dead this time. Not captured. Not bait, just dead. Killed by Thunder's own uncle while Thunder had been too slow to save her. I'm going to kill you, Thunder said quietly. No, you're not, because I have something you want. What? Lily, Emma, the other 17 children, all safely tucked away in a compound you'll never find. You come after me, they die. You expose the network, they die. You breathe wrong, they die. Richard paused. But you walk away? Return to whatever pathetic existence you were living before you decided to play hero? They get to live, get adopted, get normal lives. Your choice. Thunder's mind raced. Richard had the children, had recaptured them somehow, which meant Sarah's network had been compromised, infiltrated. Everything they'd built was broken. How do I know you have them? A video appeared on Thunder's phone. 19 children, sitting in a concrete room, armed guards watching them. Emma holding her rabbit, looking terrified. Lily sitting beside her. Both girls staring at the camera like they were being forced to perform. Then Richard's voice off screen. Tell Thunder you're okay. Lily's mouth moved. No sound came out. She still couldn't speak, but her eyes said everything. Betrayal, terror, the knowledge that Thunder had failed her again. The video cut off. Thunder stared at his phone, at the proof that his rescue had been temporary, that the children he'd saved were right back in hell, that everything he'd done had been pointless. "You have 24 hours to decide," Richard said. "Walk away and they live. Keep fighting and they die. Simple math." The line went dead. Thunder sat in desert silence, his team watching him, waiting for orders, waiting for leadership. But Thunder had nothing, no plan, no strategy, no way to save children being held by his own uncle in a location he couldn't find with resources he couldn't match. "What did he say?" Reaper asked. Thunder told them, every word, every threat, every detail. His team absorbed it in silence, processing the scale of what they were facing. They'd been outmaneuvered, outplayed. Every move they'd made had been anticipated. Every victory had been temporary. "It's over," Chain said quietly. "We can't win this." "We don't know where they are," Ghost added. "Don't know how many guards. Don't know if Richard's even telling the truth about having them." "He's telling the truth," Thunder said. "That video was live, recent. Those kids are in a compound somewhere and we have no way to find them." Reaper lit a cigarette. "So we walk away? You tell me. You're the one who thinks I'm compromised. I think your uncle is using your connection to manipulate you, using your guilt to control the situation." Reaper blew smoke into cold air. "Question is whether we let him." Thunder looked at his brothers, at 4 men who'd followed him into hell and come out covered in blood and failure. They deserved better than this. Deserved a leader who wasn't related to the enemy, who didn't carry the stain of family complicity. "I'm done," Thunder said. "Richard's right. I'm too close to this. Too compromised. Every move I make puts those kids in danger." "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying I step down. Hand command to someone not connected to the network. Someone who can make clean decisions without family baggage." Silence. His team stared at him. Thunder had just offered to resign, to abandon the mission, to walk away from the fight he'd started. It went against everything they'd built, everything they believed. "That's bullshit," Chain said. "It's necessary. It's surrender. Richard wants you out of the fight because you're the threat. You're the one who started this, who inspired those kids to fight back. He takes you out, the whole resistance collapses." Thunder shook his head. "I'm not the resistance. Maya was, and she's dead because of me." "She's dead because evil men killed her," Reaper corrected. "Your uncle pulled the trigger, not you. But my family protected them. My blood enabled them. That makes me complicit." "By that logic, we're all complicit," Ghost said. "We all came home from war and did nothing while kids got trafficked. We all knew evil existed and chose to ignore it, until Lily wrote SOS, until you decided to care." Thunder wanted to believe them, wanted to accept that his uncle's sins weren't his own, but guilt didn't work on logic. Guilt was irrational, consuming. It told him that every child Maya's testimony could have saved was now going to die because Thunder's family had built the system protecting traffickers. His phone buzzed again. Different number. Thunder checked it. Text message. Single image. Maya's body. Dumped in desert dirt. Eyes open, staring at nothing. A message written in blood across her chest. "This is what happens to rats." Thunder's hands shook. He showed the image to his team, watched their faces harden, watched rage replace exhaustion. Maya hadn't just been killed. She'd been desecrated, turned into a warning, a message to anyone who thought about testifying. "They're not even hiding it anymore," Reaper said. "They're sending us pictures of murdered children like it's a game." "Because it is a game to them," Thunder said. "And we're losing." Another text, this time from Richard. 19 hours left. Choose wisely." The countdown had started. Thunder looked at his brothers, at men who'd sacrificed everything for a mission that was collapsing. They needed a miracle, needed some advantage they didn't have, needed something to shift the balance. Thunder's phone rang. He checked the number. Blocked. Unknown. Probably Richard again with more threats. Thunder answered anyway. "What?" A woman's voice. Older. Familiar. "Thunder? It's Helen Cortez. We met 2 years ago, via hospital. I was Sarah's contact in Phoenix PD. Thunder remembered. Helen Cortez, detective, veteran, one of the few cops Sarah had trusted. What do you want? I heard about Sarah, about Maya, about what happened in Sedona. Helen's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I should have been there. Should have helped. You're a cop. You couldn't have helped without ending your career. My career's already over. I've been investigating the trafficking network for 3 years, building a case, collecting evidence, and every time I get close, it disappears. Judges refuse warrants. DA declines prosecution. Evidence goes missing from lockup. She paused. I finally understand why. Your uncle runs the whole operation. He's got judges, prosecutors, police chiefs on payroll. The entire system is protecting him. Thunder's chest tightened. So why are you calling? Because I have something Sarah gave me before she died. Insurance. Evidence your uncle doesn't know exists. What kind of evidence? Financial records. Shell companies. Money trails connecting Richard Mercer to every trafficking compound in Arizona. Bank statements showing payments to Senator Morrison, Sheriff Davies, Judge Crawford. Everything Maya documented, plus 3 years of my investigation. Helen's voice hardened. Enough to bring down the whole network. Enough to put your uncle in prison for life. Thunder's mind raced. Real evidence. Courtroom-quality documentation. The kind that couldn't be dismissed or buried. The kind that could actually destroy the network. Where is it? Safe deposit box. Phoenix. But there's a problem. What? Your uncle knows I have something. He doesn't know what or where. But he's got people watching me, following me, waiting for me to lead them to it. Helen breathed hard. I can't get to the evidence without them getting it too. Thunder understood. Helen was trapped. The evidence existed but was unreachable, unless someone could extract it without being followed, someone expendable, someone already hunted. You want me to get it. I want someone who can fight, who can move without leaving trails, who's already burning bridges. Helen paused. Sarah trusted you. Maya died believing in you. I'm asking you to finish what they started. Thunder looked at his team, at men waiting for orders, waiting for the mission to continue. This was it, the advantage they needed, not a miracle, just information weaponized against the system protecting monsters. How do I access the box? You'll need my key and my ID, both of which I'll give you, but you have to move tonight before your uncle realizes what we're planning. Where? Helen sent coordinates. Truck stop outside Phoenix, midnight, come alone. If I see anyone following you, deal's off. Understood. Thunder? Sarah died protecting those kids. Don't make her death meaningless. The line went dead. Thunder pocketed his phone, looked at his brothers. We've got a play. Evidence that can bring down the network. Financial records, testimony, everything we need to expose Richard and everyone protecting him. What's the catch? Reaper asked. I have to go alone, meet a contact who's being watched, extract evidence from a bank without being followed or killed. Chains laughed. That's not a play. That's suicide. It's the only option we have. So we let you ride into Phoenix alone while Richard's people are hunting you? While every cop in Arizona wants you dead or captured? Reaper shook his head. Not happening. It has to happen. Helen won't meet me if I bring backup. She's paranoid, scared. One wrong move and she disappears with the evidence. Then we shadow you, stay close but invisible, ready to extract if things go bad. Thunder wanted to argue, wanted to follow Helen's instructions exactly. But Reaper was right. Going alone was suicide. Thunder was already compromised, already hunted. He needed backup even if Helen didn't know it. Fine. But stay distant. If she sees you, this whole thing collapses. They planned quickly. Routes, rally points, extraction plans. Thunder would meet Helen at midnight. His team would position themselves within a mile, close enough to respond, far enough to stay invisible. It wasn't perfect, but nothing about this mission had been perfect from the start. They rode toward Phoenix as the sun died, desert turning red and gold. Thunder led his team through back roads and forgotten highways, avoiding main routes, avoiding cameras, becoming ghosts moving through a state that wanted them dead. Thunder's mind kept circling back to Richard, his uncle, his blood, the man who'd taught Thunder how to fish when he was 8, who'd given him advice about girls and college and life. That same man was now trafficking children, killing to protect his operation, threatening to murder 19 kids if Thunder didn't surrender. How did good people become monsters? Or had Richard always been a monster, just better at hiding it? Thunder's phone buzzed. Another text, another unknown number. He checked it while riding. Image, Lily and Emma, chained to a wall, bruised, terrified. A message underneath, 16 hours. Thunder's hands tightened on the handlebars. Richard was escalating. Sending proof he'd hurt the children. Proof he'd keep hurting them until Thunder submitted. Classic intimidation, classic control. Thunder had seen it before. In Kandahar. Taliban fighters using kidnapped villagers as leverage, threatening children to force compliance. Thunder had refused then. Followed orders. Done nothing. Watched those villagers die while he waited for command approval that never came. He wouldn't make that mistake again. Another text. Your choice, Jace. Their pain or your surrender. Every hour you delay, I hurt them worse. Thunder typed back. You hurt them, I kill you. Richard's response came fast. You're not a killer anymore. You're a hero. Heroes don't murder family. Thunder stared at the message. Richard was right. Thunder had spent 15 years trying to be better than the Marine who'd killed without hesitation in Fallujah, trying to prove he could be human again, trying to bury the killer under leather and brotherhood and the pretense of civilization. But civilization hadn't saved Maya, hadn't saved Sarah, wouldn't save Lily and Emma. Maybe being human meant becoming a monster when monsters threatened innocence. Thunder typed, watch me. He pocketed the phone, focused on riding, on getting to Phoenix, on extracting evidence that could destroy his uncle's network. Everything else was noise, distraction. Richard wanted him emotional, wanted him making mistakes. Thunder wouldn't give him that satisfaction. They reached the outskirts of Phoenix as night fell, city lights spreading like cancer across desert. Thunder's team split up, Reaper heading north, Chain south, Ghost and Priest taking east and west, creating a net, ready to converge if Thunder needed extraction. Thunder rode alone toward the truck stop where Helen was waiting, the same truck stop where Lily had written SOS, full circle. The mission returning to its origin like a snake eating its tail. Thunder pulled in at 11:50. The lot was mostly empty, just a few big rigs parked for the night. The same flickering neon vacancy sign. The same smell of diesel and loneliness. Thunder parked near the restrooms. Killed his engine. Waited. Midnight came. No Helen. Thunder checked his phone. No messages, no calls, just silence and cold desert wind. 12:15. Still nothing. Thunder's instinct screamed. Something was wrong. Helen should have been here, should have contacted him. Unless Richard had found her first. Thunder was reaching for his phone when headlights cut across the lot. Single vehicle. Sedan. Moving slow. Cautious. It pulled up 30 feet from Thunder's bike. Stopped. Engine running, nobody getting out. Thunder stood. Hand near his sidearm. Not drawing, not yet, just ready. The driver door opened. A woman climbed out, 50 years old, gray hair, but not Helen Cortez. Someone else, someone familiar. Thunder's blood went cold. His aunt, Richard's wife, Catherine Mercer. She walked toward him, calm, confident, wearing expensive clothes and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Thunder hadn't seen her since he was a teenager, since before he enlisted. She'd aged well, money and privilege preserving her like formaldehyde. "Hello, Jace," she said. "You've grown." Thunder's hand stayed near his weapon. "Where's Helen?" "Detective Cortez? She's dead. Killed herself about 3 hours ago. Very sad. Very unexpected. She left a note. Guilt over helping criminals. Remorse over betraying her badge. The usual suicide tropes." Thunder's jaw clenched. "You killed her." "Don't be dramatic. She killed herself. We just provided motivation." Catherine stopped 10 feet away, close enough to talk, far enough to run if Thunder moved. "She was going to give you evidence, financial records, documentation, everything you needed to hurt my husband. Your husband traffics children. My husband provides a service to wealthy clients. What they do with that service isn't his concern. Thunder stared at her, at this woman who'd baked him cookies as a child, who'd bandaged his scraped knees, who'd hugged him goodbye when he deployed. She'd known, all along. She'd known what Richard was and had chosen to protect him, to profit from him. "You're both monsters," Thunder said. "We're both realists. The world runs on money and power. Your uncle understood that, built an empire on it. You could have been part of that empire, Jace. Could have come home from war to wealth and influence instead of PTSD and a biker gang." She tilted her head. "It's not too late. Richard's offering you partnership. Walk away from this crusade. Help us manage the situation. We'll make you rich, connected, powerful." Thunder laughed. "You think I want money? Everyone wants money. I want those children safe. They are safe, fed, clothed, sheltered, better than most foster homes, better than whatever lives they had before we acquired them." The casual language, the business speak. Like children were inventory, product. Thunder's vision went red. He wanted to draw his weapon, put a round through Catherine's skull. Watch her expensive smile disappear into blood and brain matter, but that would make him the monster. Or maybe it would make him the thing monsters feared. "Where's the evidence?" Thunder asked. "Destroyed. Helen gave us the safe deposit key before she died. Very cooperative once we explained the alternatives." Catherine smiled. "There is no evidence, Jace. No documentation, no financial records, nothing that can hurt us." Thunder's phone buzzed. He checked it. Message from Helen's number. But not Helen's words. "Told you it was over. Surrender or watch them die." Catherine was still smiling. "Richard's giving you one last chance. Walk away. Disappear. Let us handle the cleanup, or stay and watch 19 children die slowly while you can't save them." Thunder looked at his aunt, at evil wearing pearls and perfume, at someone who'd chosen to enable horror for profit. He understood now. This wasn't just Richard. This was a family business. Catherine was equal partner, equal monster. She'd probably helped select the children, managed the logistics, counted the money. "No," Thunder said quietly. Catherine's smile faded. "No? I'm not walking away. I'm not surrendering. I'm going to find those children, free them. Then I'm going to burn your empire down until there's nothing left but ash and prison cells. You can't win this." "Watch me," Catherine sighed. "I was hoping you'd be reasonable. Richard said you were too damaged, too traumatized, too much the Marine still fighting a war that ended years ago." She gestured. Headlights blazed from every direction, vehicles hidden in the darkness igniting simultaneously. 8 SUVs, maybe more, surrounding the truck stop, surrounding Thunder, doors opening, armed men climbing out, professional. Military-grade gear, at least 30 shooters forming a perimeter. Thunder's hand moved to his sidearm. "Don't," Catherine warned. "You draw, they kill you. Simple." Thunder's mind raced, calculating angles, cover, escape routes. He was surrounded, outgunned, alone. His team was a mile away, too far to help. Even if he called them, they'd arrive to find his body leaking into diesel-stained asphalt. This was the trap. Helen had been bait. Catherine was the hook, and Thunder had swallowed it whole. "What now?" Thunder asked. "Now you come with us. Quietly. Peacefully. We take you to Richard. He explains exactly what happens to those 19 children if you don't cooperate." Catherine's voice hardened. "And if you resist, we kill you here. Let your biker friends find your body. Use it as an object lesson about what happens to heroes who don't know when to quit." Thunder looked at the armed men, at the vehicles, at the trap closing around him. He could fight, could draw and fire, could take down maybe 3 or 4 before they shredded him, die like a warrior, die on his feet. Or he could surrender, play along, stay alive long enough to find the children and maybe, possibly, impossibly, save them. The choice that separated soldiers from corpses. Thunder raised his hands, slow, non-threatening. "Okay, I'll come." Catherine smiled. "Smart boy. Your father would be proud." "My father would be disgusted. Your father was a drunk who died broke and bitter. We're offering you better." She gestured. 2 men approached, weapons trained on Thunder. They patted him down. Found his sidearm, his backup piece, his knife. stripped him of every weapon. One of them zip-tied his wrists. Not gentle. Thunder's shoulders screamed as they forced his arms behind his back. They loaded him into an SUV, black interior, tinted windows. Catherine climbed in beside him. Casual, like they were going to dinner instead of whatever hell Richard had planned. "Where are we going?" Thunder asked. "To see your uncle. Have a family reunion. Discuss your future." Catherine looked at him. Or lack thereof. The SUV pulled out. Other vehicles following, convoy formation. Thunder watched the truck stop disappear, watched the place where Lily had written SOS fade into darkness. His phone was still in his pocket, still transmitting location to his team. They'd be tracking him, following, waiting for an opening. But Thunder wasn't sure there would be an opening. This felt like endgame. They drove for 40 minutes, out of Phoenix, into high desert, no streetlights, no civilization. Just darkness and scrub brush and the knowledge that people disappeared in places like this. Thunder watched landmarks, memorized turns, combat training reflexive. Even zip-tied and captured, he was gathering intelligence, preparing for escape, for fighting, for whatever came next. The convoy turned onto a dirt road, wound through canyons, finally stopped at a gate. Armed guards. Military checkpoint set up. The gate opened. They continued, deeper into wilderness, deeper into isolation. Finally, lights appeared ahead, compound, large, electrified fence, guard towers. The kind of security that screamed private military. Thunder's chest tightened. This was where they kept the children. Had to be. Nothing else warranted this level of protection. The SUV stopped. Catherine climbed out. Thunder was dragged out after her. His team forced him forward. Through the gate, into the compound, past guards who looked like ex-special forces, past dogs straining at leashes, past enough firepower to hold off a small army. They entered a building, office, expensive, hardwood and leather, a desk covered in computer monitors, and behind the desk, standing like a king in his castle, Richard Mercer. He looked older than Thunder remembered, grayer, softer, but his eyes held the same cold calculation. The same predator intelligence. He smiled when he saw Thunder. "Jace, it's been too long." Thunder said nothing. "Not going to greet your uncle? No family warmth? I'm hurt." Richard gestured to the guards. "Cut him loose. Let him sit. We're civilized here." The zip ties were cut. Thunder's wrists burned where they'd carved into flesh. He didn't sit, just stood there, staring at the man who'd taught him to fish, who now trafficked children. "You're probably wondering why you're alive," Richard said. "Not really. Humor me." Thunder met his uncle's eyes. "You need me alive because the iron vultures are still operational. Kill me, they scatter. Become 50 independent cells you can't control. But if you turn me, convince me to stand down, you can end this resistance without bloodshed." Richard smiled. Smart. Always were. That marine intelligence. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand, the world isn't black and white, Jace. It's not good versus evil. It's complicated, messy. These children we acquire, most come from situations worse than anything we provide. Abusive homes, poverty, neglect. We feed them, clothe them, give them value. You rape them, sell them, destroy them. We monetize a resource that would otherwise be wasted." Richard leaned forward. "Do you know how many children go missing in America every year? Hundreds of thousands. Most are never found, never recovered. They disappear into systems that don't care. At least with us, they serve a purpose." Thunder's hands curled into fists. "They're not resources. They're children. They're commodities in a market that exists whether we participate or not. We didn't create the demand, Jace. We just fulfill it. Efficiently, profitably." Thunder stared at his uncle, at the casual evil, the business logic applied to horror. Richard genuinely believed what he was saying, had convinced himself that trafficking was entrepreneurship, that rape was commerce. "You're insane," Thunder said. "I'm practical, and I'm offering you a choice. Join us. Use your military training to improve our security, your connections to identify other resistance elements. Help us build something that lasts." Richard paused. "Or refuse." and watch me execute every child in this compound while you're forced to listen." Thunder's blood went cold. "You'd kill them?" "I'd eliminate inventory that's been compromised." Maya talked. "Those 19 children she rescued are now liabilities. They've seen too much. Know too much. We can't sell them, can't release them. We can only dispose of them. They're kids. They're evidence." Richard's voice hardened. "Evidence I'm willing to destroy if you don't cooperate." Thunder understood. This was the real choice. Not surrender versus fight, but complicity versus witness. Richard was offering Thunder a front row seat to mass murder unless he joined the network, became part of the machine, helped protect the system. "Take him to the barn," Richard ordered. "Let him see what he's choosing." Guards grabbed Thunder, dragged him from the office, across the compound. Catherine followed, casual observer. They reached a large barn, similar to the one they'd raided. Metal doors guarded entrance. The guards pulled the doors open. Inside, 19 children sat in cages, metal cages, like animals. Lily, Emma, the others. All staring at Thunder with eyes that had given up hope. Emma's rabbit was gone. Lily's face was bruised. They'd been beaten, terrorized, broken again after tasting freedom. Thunder's knees almost buckled. "This is what you're fighting for," Richard said from behind him. "These damaged goods, these used-up resources. You really want to die for them?" Thunder walked closer to the cages. Lily saw him. Her eyes widened, mouth opening to speak but no sound emerging, just that familiar silence. Thunder knelt in front of her cage, met her eyes through bars. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I failed you." Lily shook her head, pressed her hand against the bars. Thunder took it, small hand, cold, trembling. She mouthed words he couldn't hear, but he understood. "Don't give up." Thunder stood, turned to Richard. "You want my answer?" "Yes." "Here it is." Thunder moved, fast, combat reflexes. He grabbed the nearest guard's sidearm, drew it, spun, put 3 rounds through the lock on Lily's cage. Metal exploding, door swinging open, chaos erupted, guards drawing weapons, Richard screaming orders. Thunder fired, controlled bursts. 2 guards down. 3. Creating space, creating chaos, giving the children a chance. Lily tumbled from her cage. Emma followed, other kids scrambling free, running, screaming. Thunder kept firing, forcing guards back, creating an exit route. Then Catherine shot him. The round caught Thunder in the side, punched through leather and flesh. He went down, vision blurring, the gun falling from numb fingers. He looked up. Catherine stood there holding a small pistol, smoke curling from the barrel, her face calm, businesslike. "Stupid boy," she said. Thunder tried to stand. His leg wouldn't work, blood pooling beneath him, hot, sticky. He'd been shot before. In Kandahar. This felt worse, deeper, the kind of wound that didn't heal. Guards swarmed the children, grabbing them, forcing them back into cages. Lily fought, scratching, kicking, silent rage. But she was 12 years old. They overpowered her easily, threw her back in the cage, locked the door. Thunder watched it happen. Powerless. Bleeding out on concrete while children who'd trusted him were recaptured. Richard approached, looked down at his nephew dying on the floor. "You chose wrong," Richard said. Thunder coughed blood. "I chose right. You chose to die for strangers. Better than living as a monster." Richard shook his head. "Get him medical attention. Keep him alive. I want him to watch what happens next." They dragged Thunder to a corner, applied pressure to his wound, rough field medicine, enough to keep him breathing, not enough to help him fight. Thunder's vision swam, consciousness fading. He fought to stay aware, to witness, to remember. Richard pulled out a phone, made a call. "Bring them in, all of them. It's time to send a message." Thunder understood. Richard was escalating, bringing in buyers, politicians, the whole network. They were going to sell these children in front of Thunder, make him watch, prove he'd failed, break him completely. The barn doors opened. Expensive cars pulled in. Men in suits, women in designer clothes. The wealthy, the powerful, the protected. They entered like this was an auction, because it was. Thunder was watching children being sold to the highest bidder while he bled out in the corner. Lily saw him, saw the blood. Her mouth opened in a silent scream. Thunder tried to move. Couldn't. His body was shutting down. Combat awareness fading. He was dying, slowly, in a barn full of caged children, watching evil win. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Somehow still there. Somehow still working. He managed to pull it out with blood-slick fingers. Checked the screen. Message from Reaper. "We're coming." Thunder's vision darkened. His last thought before consciousness fled was simple. "Please hurry." Then darkness took him. Thunder woke to pain. Not the dull ache of healing wounds, but the sharp immediacy of torn flesh and shattered bone. His side screamed where Catherine's bullet had punched through. Blood soaked his shirt, pooled beneath him on concrete. He tried to move. His body refused. Shock. Blood loss. Maybe internal damage. Maybe dying. He forced his eyes open. Focused through haze, the barn swam into view. Children still caged, buyers circling like vultures evaluating carry-on, Richard standing near the center, conducting the auction with a smile that belonged in boardrooms, not slaughterhouses. Thunder's phone buzzed against his ribs, still in his pocket, still somehow functional. He couldn't reach it, couldn't move his arms, just lay there bleeding while his team's rescue message went unanswered. A guard noticed Thunder was conscious, kicked him. "Stay down, you move again. I put one in your head." Thunder tasted blood, coughed it up, watched it splatter on concrete. His vision tunneled, darkness creeping in at the edges. He was dying, slowly, while children who'd trusted him were being sold to monsters. Lily's cage was closest. She watched him through bars, her face wet with silent tears, mouthing words he couldn't hear. Thunder read her lips anyway. "I'm sorry." She was apologizing. This 12-year-old child who'd survived hell was apologizing to him for getting captured, for trusting outlaws, for believing in rescue. Thunder's chest cracked open, not from the bullet, from something worse, from watching innocence apologize for evil. He couldn't let this be the end, wouldn't let this be the end. Thunder forced his hand toward his pocket, inch by inch, agony screaming through torn muscle. The guard wasn't watching, too busy enjoying the auction. Thunder's fingers found his phone, pulled it free. Blood-slick screen. He could barely see through the red haze. He managed to open messages, typed with shaking fingers, letters appearing wrong, autocorrect garbling words. But he got enough out. Barn, compound, 19 kids. Richard, here, buyers. Hurry. He hit send, dropped the phone, used the last of his strength to kick it under nearby debris, hiding it. If they found it, they'd know help was coming. Better to let them think Thunder was alone, dying, defeated. Let them underestimate what was riding toward them through desert darkness. Richard's voice cut through the haze. Lot 17, female, age 12, undamaged, starting bid 100,000. Thunder's vision cleared enough to see. They were auctioning Lily, his Lily, the girl who'd written SOS in blood, who'd trusted outlaws because the world had failed her. Men in suits were raising paddles, bidding, casual, like she was furniture. 150, someone called. 200, another voice. Lily stood in her cage, small, terrified, but not broken. She stared at the buyers with eyes that held nothing but defiance. Even now, even being sold. She refused to surrender. Thunder had never seen courage like that. Not in Marines, not in combat, nowhere. 250, a woman's voice. Thunder's vision swam. He couldn't see her face, just expensive jewelry catching light, wealth purchasing innocence. 300, another bid. The price climbed. Thunder listened to men and women compete for the right to own a child, to rape her, to destroy her. Each bid was another nail in humanity's coffin, another proof that evil didn't hide in shadows. It walked in daylight wearing designer suits. Sold, Richard finally said. 350,000 to bidder 12. A man approached Lily's cage. 60s, silver hair, politician smile. He looked her over like inspecting livestock. Lily spat at him. The man laughed, actually laughed. Spirited. I like that. Thunder tried to move, tried to stand. His body wouldn't respond, just lay there useless while a child was transferred from cage to ownership. The man produced a leash, attached it to a collar. Lily fought, scratching, kicking, silent fury. Guards held her, forced the collar on, handed the leash to her new owner. Thunder's phone buzzed under the debris. He couldn't see it, couldn't check if his team had responded, just had to trust they'd received the message. Had to believe 50 iron vultures were converging on this compound. Had to hope they'd arrive before every child was sold and scattered. The auction continued, Emma next, then the others, one by one. Children reduced to lot numbers, to starting bids, to hammer prices. Richard orchestrated it all with professional detachment. This was business, quarterly earnings, portfolio diversification. Thunder's uncle had become something beyond human, beyond monster. He'd become a void, an absence of everything good, and Thunder shared his blood. Catherine appeared in Thunder's fading vision, knelt beside him, checked his pulse. Still alive, remarkable. Most men would have bled out by now. Thunder tried to speak, only managed a wet cough. Don't bother, Catherine said. Save your strength. Richard wants you conscious for the finale. Wants you to witness what happens to heroes who don't know when to quit. She stood, walked away. Thunder lay in spreading blood, consciousness flickering like a dying bulb. Time became elastic. Seconds stretched, minutes compressed. He lost track of how many children were auctioned, how many buyers walked out with leashes and ownership papers. He just knew he was failing, knew he'd failed. Then engines. Distant at first. Thunder thought he was hallucinating, blood loss causing auditory distortions. But the sound grew. Multiple motorcycles, lots of them, growing louder, closer, coming fast. The guards heard it too. Exchanged looks, reached for weapons. Richard's smile faded. He pulled out a phone, barked orders. Lock it down. Nobody leaves. Nobody enters. But the engines kept coming. Thunder managed to turn his head, could see through gaps in the barn walls. Headlights. Dozens. Surrounding the compound, 50 Harleys forming a perimeter. Then silence. Engines cutting. Just night wind and tension. Thunder's chest loosened. They'd come. His brothers had come. 50 outlaws riding into certain death because one of their own was bleeding in a barn, because 19 children needed rescue, because sometimes the mission mattered more than survival. Richard's phone rang. He answered, listened. His face went pale. How many? Pause. All of them? He looked at Catherine. The Iron Vultures. The entire club. Outside the gates. Kill them, Catherine said calmly. You have 40 guards, military training, superior position. Cut them down. They're not attacking, just sitting there, waiting. Thunder understood. His team was establishing presence, showing force, letting Richard know this compound was surrounded, that any violence would be met with overwhelming response. It was psychological warfare, the kind that preceded actual warfare. Richard's phone rang again. Different number. He answered. What? His expression changed, fury bleeding through calculated calm. How did you... He looked at Thunder, understanding dawning. You sent them coordinates. Thunder smiled through blood. Told you. I'm not alone. You're surrounded by 40 trained killers. So are you. Richard ended the call. Addressed the buyers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation. The auction is suspended. Please remain calm. Security is handling it. Panic rippled through the barn. Wealthy people unused to danger suddenly realizing they were in a war zone. They moved toward exits. Guards blocked them. Nobody leaves, Richard ordered. You walk out there, you become witnesses, liabilities. One buyer, a Senator Thunder vaguely recognized, pushed forward. You can't hold us hostage. I can do whatever I want. You're all complicit now, all part of this. You leave, you expose yourself. Richard's mask cracked, showed the predator underneath. So sit down, shut up, let me handle this. The senator sat. They all did. Because Richard was right. They'd participated. Bid on children, became part of the network. Their only safety was Richard's protection. Without him, they were exposed, vulnerable, criminals without the infrastructure to stay hidden. Thunder's phone buzzed again under debris, louder this time, insistent. Someone was calling. Thunder couldn't reach it, couldn't answer, just had to hope whoever was calling would proceed without confirmation. Outside, a voice boomed through a megaphone. Reaper's voice. "Richard Mercer, we know you're inside. We know you have 19 children. We know you have Thunder. This is simple. Release them. Walk away. Or we come in and take them." Silence. Richard didn't respond, just stood there calculating, measuring options. He still thought he had leverage, thought his 40 guards could hold off 50 bikers, thought money and power made him untouchable. He was wrong. Reaper's voice again. "You have 5 minutes to respond. Then we breach." Richard grabbed a megaphone from a guard, stepped outside. Thunder couldn't see him but heard his voice echo. "You breach, children die. Every single one. My guards have orders. First sign of assault, they execute the kids." The threat hung in night air. Thunder knew Reaper was processing it, calculating. Could they breach fast enough to save the children? Or would Richard's guards pull triggers the moment doors opened? It was the worst kind of tactical problem, one where speed killed the hostages you were trying to save. Reaper's response came measured, controlled. "Then we have a problem, because we're not leaving without them, and you're not killing them without dying yourself." "I'm willing to die for my empire," Richard called back. "Are you willing to die for strangers?" "They're not strangers. They're the reason we're here, the reason we exist. You kill them, you turn 50 iron vultures into something you can't survive. Your guards can't stop. Your money can't buy off." Reaper paused. "So here's my counteroffer. Release the children. Keep Thunder. We trade. One life for 19. Thunder's blood froze. Reaper was offering surrender, offering to trade Thunder's life for the children. It was tactically sound. One veteran for 19 kids, good math, acceptable losses. But Thunder wouldn't accept it. He tried to speak, to object, only managed a weak cough. Nobody heard. Richard was already responding. "Interesting. You'd sacrifice your president for children you've never met?" "We'd sacrifice anything for them. That's the difference between us." Reaper's voice hardened. "You have 4 minutes." Richard came back inside, addressed Catherine. "What do you think?" "I think it's a trap. They take the children and then attack anyway." "Probably, but if we refuse, they definitely attack. At least this way we keep Thunder, use him as leverage, force the Iron Vultures to stand down or watch their president die slowly." Catherine nodded. "Do it." Richard grabbed his megaphone again. "We accept. Release the children for Thunder, but I want assurances. Your entire club backs off, leaves Arizona, never returns, or I execute Thunder live on camera and mail the pieces to your clubhouse." Silence. Thunder imagined Reaper conferring with the team, running scenarios. This was the nightmare choice. Save the kids and lose Thunder, or assault and risk everyone. There was no good option, just varying degrees of failure. Finally, Reaper responded, "We need proof of life. Let us see Thunder. Verify he's alive." Guards dragged Thunder to the barn doors, propped him up, opened the doors enough for headlights to illuminate him. Thunder blinked against the glare. Saw silhouettes, 50 bikers mounted on Harleys, forming a perimeter, waiting. Reaper's voice came closer. Thunder could see him now, standing 50 yards out, rifle lowered but ready. "Thunder, you good?" Thunder found his voice. Weak, wet. "Been better. We're getting you out." "No." Thunder coughed blood. "The kids. Get the kids. We can get both." "You can't. You breach, they die. You know it. I know it." Thunder met Reaper's eyes across the distance. "Take the deal. Save them. Leave me." "Brother, that's an order." Thunder's voice gained strength, final authority. 19 children for one broken Marine. Good trade. Reaper was silent. Thunder could see him processing, hating it, but understanding it. This was the call, the choice that separated leaders from survivors. Sometimes the mission required sacrifice. Sometimes the only way to win was to lose something precious. 5 minutes? Reaper finally said. We verify the children are unharmed, then we leave. But Thunder? We're coming back for you. This isn't over. Richard laughed. By the time you organize a rescue, Thunder will be dead and I'll be in a country without extradition. This is over. Thunder was dragged back inside. Doors closed, darkness returning. He'd just sentenced himself to death, bought 19 children freedom with his life. It was the right call, the only call. But knowing that didn't make it easier. Catherine appeared again. Brave, stupid, but brave. She checked his wound. You'll bleed out in maybe an hour, 2 if you're unlucky. We'll make sure you stay conscious. Make sure you understand what you've lost. Guards began moving children from cages, preparing them for transfer. Lily fought. Emma cried. The others stumbled along in traumatized silence. They didn't understand they were being freed, just knew they were being moved, more hands grabbing them, more adults controlling them. Thunder watched from the floor. Lily, he managed to call. Emma. Both girls turned, saw him. Lily's face crumpled. She broke free from the guard, ran to Thunder, collapsed beside him, her hands touching his face, his blood-soaked shirt. She was crying. Silent tears. Mouthing words he couldn't hear but understood. Don't die. Please don't die. Emma joined her, both girls clinging to Thunder. The man who'd saved them twice, who'd promised protection, who was now bleeding out because he'd chosen their freedom over his survival. You're safe, Thunder whispered. Reaper's outside. He'll take care of you, all of you. He looked at Lily, met her eyes. Tell your sister I'm sorry I couldn't save her too. Lily shook her head, pulled something from her pocket. A piece of paper, folded. She pressed it into Thunder's hand. Then guards were pulling her away, dragging both girls toward the barn doors, toward the exchange, toward freedom. Thunder unfolded the paper with blood-slick fingers, Lily's handwriting, child's letters, written recently, maybe while caged, maybe while watching him bleed. Maya told me something before she died. Your uncle has a brother, your father. He's still alive. Richard lied. He's in the compound. Prisoner. They keep him in the basement. Maya saw him. Thunder's world stopped. His father, alive. Thunder had been told 15 years ago that his father died. Car accident, drunk driving, closed casket funeral. Thunder had deployed to Afghanistan carrying that grief, had fought through Kandahar thinking his father was dead. But Richard had lied, had kept his brother alive, imprisoned, for 15 years. Why? Leverage? Control? Or something worse? Thunder's hands shook. He looked toward the barn doors. Lily was being led outside. All 19 children moving toward freedom and the iron vultures, the exchange happening, his team keeping their word. And somewhere in this compound, in a basement, Thunder's father was waiting, had been waiting 15 years, imprisoned by his own brother, probably tortured, definitely broken. Thunder couldn't leave him. Couldn't let the iron vultures ride away while his father rotted in Richard's prison. He had to move, had to act. Thunder forced himself to his knees, agony screaming through his side, blood pouring fresh from the wound. His vision grayed, consciousness threatening to flee. He fought through it, crawled toward a guard standing near the wall. The guard was watching the exchange, not paying attention to the dying man. Thunder grabbed the guard's ankle, pulled. The guard stumbled. Thunder drove his fist into the man's knee. Bone crunching. The guard screamed, went down. Thunder grabbed his sidearm, drew it, put 2 rounds through the guard's chest. Chaos erupted. Other guards spun, weapons rising. Thunder fired, dropped 2 more. Pain made him slow, imprecise. But close quarters and desperation gave him advantage. He kept firing, forcing guards back, creating space. Outside engines roared. The iron vultures heard gunfire, heard the exchange collapsing. Reaper's voice boomed. Breach, 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 50 Harleys screamed forward. Richard was screaming orders. Kill them! Kill them all! Guards opened fire on the approaching bikes, muzzle flashes lighting up darkness. The iron vultures returned fire. Trained marksmanship versus panicked defense. Guards dropped. Bikers pushed forward. The compound's gates exploded, breached. 50 outlaws pouring through like a steel flood. Thunder stumbled toward the barn's back exit, away from the firefight, toward the main house, toward wherever Richard kept prisoners. His wound leaked, his strength faded, but he kept moving. One step, another. His father was here, alive, waiting. Thunder wouldn't leave him. Catherine appeared in his path, still holding her pistol. "You don't quit, do you?" Thunder raised his weapon. "Move!" "Or what? You'll shoot me? Your aunt?" "You stopped being family when you sold children." Catherine's face hardened. "Your father said the same thing. When Richard showed him what we'd built, what we'd become, he threatened to expose us, go to police, destroy everything." She smiled. "So Richard destroyed him instead, kept him alive, locked away, used him as insurance against exactly this kind of heroics. Where is he?" "Basement, sub-level 3, chained to a wall like the sanctimonious fool he is." Catherine's finger tightened on her trigger. "But you're not getting there. You're dying here." Thunder fired first. Catherine's shot went wide. Thunder's didn't. Center mass. She staggered, looked down at the spreading red on her expensive blouse, looked back up at Thunder, surprised, like she hadn't expected consequences. She collapsed. Thunder stepped over her body. No remorse. No hesitation. She'd helped traffic children, had shot him, had participated in 15 years of his father's imprisonment. She deserved worse than a bullet. He pushed through the barn's back exit. Outside, the battle raged, Harleys circling, guards firing from positions, bikers returning fire with brutal precision. Thunder saw Reaper leading an assault on the main gate, chains covering him with suppressive fire, Ghost and Priest flanking, perfect fire team movement, just like Fallujah. Thunder moved toward the main house, away from the fight. Nobody noticed. Everyone focused on survival, on killing, on the chaos of combat. Thunder slipped inside through a side door, found stairs, descended, sub-level 1, 2, 3, each level darker, colder, more industrial. This wasn't housing. This was prison, real prison. Cells with bars, chains bolted to walls, the smell of human waste and despair. Thunder checked cells, empty, abandoned. Then he heard it, coughing, wet, diseased, coming from the last cell. Thunder approached, looked through bars. A man sat chained to the wall, 60 years old maybe, gray hair, beard, thin, malnourished. But his eyes. Thunder knew those eyes, had seen them in mirrors, in photographs, in memories 15 years old. "Dad?" The man's head lifted, focused on Thunder. Recognition dawned slowly. "Jace?" Thunder's world shattered. His father, alive, chained, broken, 15 years in a basement, 15 years thinking his son believed he was dead. Thunder's hands shook as he searched for keys, found them on a wall hook, unlocked the cell, rushed to his father's side. "Dad, Jesus Christ, I know, Richard told me you buried me, moved on." His father's voice was rough, broken. "I tried to escape, to get word to you. He always stopped me." Thunder unlocked the chains. His father collapsed forward. Thunder caught him, held him. This man who'd taught him to fish, to ride, to be a man, reduced to skeletal weight and trauma. "We're getting out," Thunder said. "Together. You're bleeding. I'll live. You're dying." Thunder met his father's eyes. "Then I'll die getting you free." Footsteps on the stairs. Heavy. Multiple guards. Richard's voice calling down, "Jace, you can't save him. You can't save anyone. Accept it." Thunder pulled his father up. "Can you walk?" "I can try." They moved toward the stairs. Thunder went first, weapon ready, his father behind him, weak, stumbling, but free. Finally free. Thunder reached the stairwell. Guards were descending. Thunder fired, dropped the first, the second, third returned fire. Round hitting concrete beside Thunder's head, chips cutting his face. Thunder fired again. Empty. Magazine dry. He looked at his father. "Run." "I'm not leaving you. You have to." Richard appeared on the stairs, holding a rifle, aimed at Thunder's father. "Move and I kill him. Drop your weapon and maybe he lives." Thunder stared at his uncle. at the man who'd imprisoned his brother for 15 years, who'd trafficked children, who'd built an empire on suffering. Richard's eyes held nothing human, just cold calculation. "You won't kill him," Thunder said. "He's your leverage." "Was my leverage. Now he's just a witness." Richard's finger moved to the trigger. "Goodbye, brother." Thunder threw himself forward, covering his father. Taking the bullet meant for him. It hit Thunder's shoulder, spun him. He crashed into stairs, vision exploding white. His father screamed, grabbed Thunder's dropped pistol, fired. The shot caught Richard in the chest. Richard staggered, looked down at spreading blood, looked at his brother. "You always were weak, choosing morality over profit, family over business." He coughed blood. "Look where it got you." "Alive," Thunder's father said. "Still human, still able to sleep at night." He fired again. "Unlike you." Richard fell, tumbled downstairs, landed in a heap, bleeding, dying. Thunder's father stood over him, pistol shaking. 15 years of imprisonment, of torture, of watching his brother become a monster, all of it focused into that moment. "Burn in hell," Thunder's father whispered. Richard smiled through blood. "See you there, brother." He died. Thunder's father dropped the pistol, collapsed. Thunder dragged himself up, grabbed his father. "We need to move. This building's going to be a war zone." They climbed stairs together, two broken men, both bleeding, both dying, both refusing to quit. They reached the main level. Outside, the battle had shifted. The iron vultures had pushed deep into the compound. Guards were falling back. Buyers were fleeing, chaos consuming everything. Thunder and his father stumbled outside, into smoke and gunfire and confusion. Reaper saw them, did a double take. "Who's that?" "My father," Thunder said. Long story. Get him out." "Both of you. We're extracting." "The children." "Already clear. Chains got them to the rally point. Emma and Lily are safe." Reaper grabbed Thunder's father. "Can you ride?" Thunder's father nodded. Reaper whistled. Ghost appeared with a bike. They loaded Thunder's father on. Thunder tried to mount his own Harley. His legs wouldn't work, blood loss catching up. Reaper caught him before he fell. "I got you, brother." They rode out together. Thunder on the back of Reaper's bike. His father on Ghost's, the iron vultures forming escort. Behind them, the compound burned. Literally burned. Chains had set charges, the whole operation going up in flames. Evidence destroyed. Traffickers dead or scattered. Richard's empire collapsing into ash. They rode through the desert as dawn broke. Red sunrise painting the landscape. Thunder's consciousness faded in and out. He saw his father riding ahead, alive, free. Saw Lily and Emma at the rally point, safe, crying, hugging each other. He saw Maya's face in his mind, her final testimony, her courage. She died believing these children would be saved. She'd been right. Thunder let darkness take him. This time it felt different. Not like dying, like sleeping, like the mission was complete, like he could finally rest. He woke in a safe house. Different one. Secure location, his side bandaged, professional medical work, an IV in his arm. Reaper sat beside the bed, smoking, waiting. "Welcome back," Reaper said. Thunder tried to speak, throat too dry. Reaper handed him water. Thunder drank. "The kids?" "Safe. All 19. Sarah's network picked them up. Different locations, new identities. They're ghosts now. Disappeared into protection." "My father?" "Getting medical attention. He'll live, probably." Reaper stubbed out his cigarette. "You want to tell me how your dead father was chained in your uncle's basement?" Thunder told him. Everything Lily's note had said. Everything Catherine had revealed. 15 years of imprisonment. Richard's insurance policy. Thunder's father as living leverage. Reaper listened, face stone. When Thunder finished, Reaper was quiet for a long time. Finally, "Your family's fucked up, brother." "Yeah. But you're not. You know that, right? Richard's sins aren't yours." Thunder wasn't sure he believed that, but he nodded anyway. "What happens now?" "Now we disappear. The compound burning bought us time, but not much. Feds will investigate. Local cops will hunt. We need to scatter. Go underground. Maybe forever. The mission's complete. We saved 19 kids, killed the traffickers, destroyed the network. Richard's dead. His infrastructure is collapsing. Politicians are scrambling to cover their involvement. We won. Thunder closed his eyes. Won. It didn't feel like winning, felt like surviving. Barely. Maya's testimony went public. Everything she documented, every name, every location. The journalist she talked to released it all after she died. Front page, national coverage. The network's exposed. Will it make a difference? Reaper shrugged. Some cops got arrested, some politicians resigned, some buyers went into hiding. But the system's still broken, still corrupt. There'll be other networks, other traffickers. He paused. But not here. Not in Arizona. We salted that earth, made it too hot, too dangerous. Thunder understood. They hadn't won the war, just the battle. Evil would rebuild, adapt, find new ways to hurt children. But for now, 19 kids were safe. Maya's death meant something. Sarah's sacrifice mattered. It would have to be enough. The Iron Vultures? Thunder asked. Scattered, small cells, ghost operations. We can't exist as a club anymore, too visible, too hunted, but we're still connected, still brothers, still ready if another child writes SOS. Thunder nodded. That was the real victory. Not destroying one network, but proving that broken men could still protect the innocent, that outlaws could still be heroes, that when society failed, someone would answer the call, even if it cost everything, especially then. Thunder's father appeared in the doorway, bandaged, clean, fed, looking more human. He saw Thunder awake. Tears started falling. Jace, they said you might not make it. I'm stubborn. You're your mother's son. His father crossed the room, sat beside the bed, took Thunder's hand. I'm sorry. For everything. For not being there. For being weak enough to get captured. For letting you think I was dead. Richard did that. Not you. I should have fought harder, escaped. Found you. Thunder squeezed his father's hand. You survived. 15 years in hell. That's not weak. That's the strongest thing I've ever seen. His father wept. 15 years of pain releasing. Thunder held his hand while his father broke. This man who'd been stolen, imprisoned, tortured, who'd survived because somewhere he believed his son might still need him. He'd been right. The door opened. Lily appeared. Emma behind her. Both girls clean, wearing new clothes, looking more like children than inventory. They saw Thunder, ran to him, careful of his injuries. Both crying, both trying to speak. Emma found words. You saved us. Thunder shook his head. You saved yourselves. I just showed up. Lily pulled out paper, wrote quickly, showed Thunder. Maya made me promise something. If you survived, I had to tell you she loved you, not like family, like a hero. You gave her hope when she had none. Thank you for not giving up. Thunder read it twice. Maya had loved him, this 14-year-old warrior who'd died fighting. She'd loved the broken Marine who tried to save her. Thunder's chest cracked. He'd failed her, let her die. But she'd still believed in him, still trusted him with her final message. Tell her I'm sorry, Thunder whispered. Lily shook her head, wrote, she said, don't be sorry. Be the man she believed you were. Thunder closed his eyes, nodded. That was the real mission, not just saving children, but becoming the man they believed existed, the protector, the guardian, the hero, even when he felt like anything but. We have to move, Reaper said. This location's compromised. Feds tracked us. Maybe 30 minutes out. Thunder sat up, pain screaming. Where? Mexico, different safe house, off-grid. We disappear for a year, maybe longer. Let things cool. The children? Coming with. New identities. Sarah's network set everything up before she died. As far as the system knows, these kids don't exist. Thunder looked at Lily and Emma, at 17 other children gathering in the hallway, all watching him, all waiting. They'd survived because outlaws refused to quit. Now outlaws would raise them, protect them, give them the childhood traffickers had stolen. It wasn't the ending Thunder had imagined. It was better. They loaded into vehicles, Thunder too weak to ride, His father beside him, Reaper driving, the iron vultures forming convoy, 19 children distributed among the bikes and trucks, heading south, toward borders, toward safety, toward whatever came next. Thunder watched Arizona disappear in the rear view. This state had taken everything from him. His innocence, his family, his brothers. But it had also given him purpose, mission, the knowledge that some things mattered more than survival, like children who wrote SOS in blood, like broken men finding redemption, like the promise that when evil came for the innocent, someone would stand between them, even if that someone was an outlaw. Especially then. Thunder's phone buzzed. Final message, unknown number. He opened it, just 3 words. Maya's story published. Thunder clicked the link. News article, national coverage, Maya's testimony, her evidence, every name, every location, every crime documented. The journalist had released everything, just like Maya had wanted. The world was listening, finally. Thunder showed Reaper. It's out, all of it. Maya won. Reaper smiled. Then we honor her. Keep fighting, keep saving kids, keep being the thing monsters fear. Thunder nodded, looked at his father, at the children, at his brothers. This was his family now, built from broken pieces, held together by shared trauma and the belief that protecting innocence mattered. They crossed into Mexico as the sun set. Thunder watched the border disappear. They were fugitives now, criminals, hunted by every law enforcement agency in America. But they were also free. Free to fight, free to protect, free to be the heroes society refused to acknowledge but children desperately needed. Thunder closed his eyes, felt the rumble of engines, felt his father's hand on his shoulder, felt Lily's note in his pocket promising Maya's love. This was grace, broken, bloody, bought with sacrifice, but real, and worth every mile of the long ride home. The safe house sat 30 miles south of the Mexican border in terrain too harsh for casual visitors. No roads led here, just dirt paths known only to smugglers and people who needed to disappear. Thunder stood on the porch watching dawn break over desert that looked identical to Arizona but felt different, safer. Like crossing that border had put distance between the children and the nightmares chasing them. He knew better. Nightmares didn't respect borders. They lived in minds, in memories, in the way Lily still flinched when men moved too fast, in how Emma checked every room for exits before entering, in the silence that followed Thunder through every waking hour since Maya died. His wound had healed, mostly. The doctors Sarah's network provided had stitched him back together with the efficiency of people used to treating fugitives. No questions, no paperwork, just morphine and sutures and instructions to rest that Thunder ignored. He couldn't rest. Not while 19 children were processing trauma in rooms down the hall, not while his father was learning to be human again after 15 years in chains. The door opened behind him. Reaper appeared. 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Thunder. They stood in silence watching the sun climb. This had become routine. Dawn coffee. No words. Just presence. 2 Marines who'd survived Kandahar and trafficking rings, and the knowledge that saving innocence required becoming something dark. Kids are awake, Reaper finally said. Emma had nightmares again. Lily sat with her until she calmed down. Thunder nodded. The children were healing, slowly. They'd been in Mexico for 6 weeks, long enough for physical wounds to close, not long enough for psychological ones. Maybe those never closed. Maybe trauma was permanent and healing was just learning to carry the weight without collapsing. Your dad's teaching them to fish, Reaper continued, down by the stream. Chains is supervising, making sure nobody wanders. Thunder's chest tightened, his father teaching children to fish, the same way he'd taught Thunder 30 years ago, before Richard destroyed everything, before imprisonment and trafficking and the knowledge that family could become monsters. His father was reclaiming humanity one fishing lesson at a time. How's he doing? Thunder asked. Better. Still wakes up screaming sometimes. Still checks doors are unlocked. But he smiles now, laughs. Yesterday he told Ghost a joke. Reaper paused. He's coming back. Thunder wanted to believe that, wanted to think 15 years in a basement could be overcome. But he'd seen what Kandahar did to Marines, how trauma carved itself into neural pathways and refused to leave. His father might be laughing now, might be teaching children to fish, but the man who'd been imprisoned wasn't the same man Thunder remembered. None of them were the same. "News out of Arizona?" Thunder asked. Reaper pulled out his phone, showed Thunder headlines. Senator Morrison arrested. Sheriff Davies under investigation. Judge Crawford resigned. 3 more politicians implicated. The network Maya exposed was collapsing. Not completely, not permanently, but enough that people were paying attention. Enough that her death meant something. "They're calling her a hero," Reaper said. Maya Johnson, 14-year-old girl who died exposing a trafficking ring. There's talk of memorials, legislation named after her. The whole performance. Thunder's jaw clenched. She'd hate that, the attention, the publicity. She just wanted her sister safe. She got that. Lily's here, alive, free, because Maya refused to be silent. Thunder looked at his coffee, at the way steam rose and disappeared into cold morning air. Maya had been silent for 2 years. Traffickers had stolen her voice along with everything else. Then she'd found it again long enough to testify, to fight, to die believing her words would save others. "I failed her," Thunder said quietly. "You arrived too late to save her. That's not the same as failing." "Feels the same." Reaper was quiet. They'd had this conversation before. Thunder's guilt. His belief that Maya's death was his fault, that if he'd moved faster, planned better, been less compromised by Richard's connection, maybe Maya would still be alive. Reaper's counter-arguments never penetrated. Guilt didn't work on logic. "The journalist who published Maya's testimony reached out," Reaper said. "Wants to interview you, wants the full story, how the Iron Vultures got involved, why outlaws risked everything for children they didn't know." Thunder shook his head. "No interviews. Could help. Public sympathy, pressure on authorities to actually investigate instead of cover up. Or it paints targets on our backs. Makes us famous. Famous outlaws get hunted harder." Thunder met Reaper's eyes. "We stay ghosts. That's how we survive." Reaper nodded. He understood. The Iron Vultures had crossed too many lines. Assaulted compounds, killed traffickers, destroyed evidence. They were criminals by any legal definition. The only reason they weren't in federal prison was invisibility. Publicity would end that. "So what's the long game?" Reaper asked. "We stay in Mexico forever? Raise these kids in hiding? Wait for the heat to die down?" Thunder had been asking himself the same question for 6 weeks. What came after rescue? After the mission ended and adrenaline faded and you were left with 19 traumatized children who needed stability, who needed parents, who needed something the Iron Vultures weren't equipped to provide. "We find them real homes," Thunder said. "Sarah's network. Foster families who understand trauma, who can give them normal lives." "And us?" Thunder looked at the desert, at the safe house, at the temporary sanctuary they'd built from desperation and criminal connections. "We do it again. Find the next trafficking ring, the next compound, the next child writing SOS. Until it kills us." "Yeah." Reaper smiled, grim, certain. "Good. I was worried you'd gone soft." They finished their coffee in silence. Down by the stream, children's laughter echoed. Thunder's father was demonstrating how to cast. Emma was trying, failing, trying again. Lily sat nearby, still silent, still unable to speak, but watching her sister laugh seemed to ease something in her expression. Thunder's phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Then muscle memory took over. 6 weeks in hiding hadn't killed the instinct to check every message, every call, every potential threat. "Yeah?" A woman's voice. Older, careful. "Is this Thunder?" "Who's asking?" "My name is Patricia Vance. I'm a social worker. I was given this number by someone named Sarah Chen before she died. She said if anything happened to her, I should contact you about 19 children who needed placement." Thunder's blood went cold. "How'd you get this number?" Sarah was careful, left instructions, dead drops, encrypted messages. "I've been following them for 6 weeks trying to reach you." Patricia paused. "She trusted me. Said I was one of the few people in the system who actually gave a damn about kids instead of paperwork." Thunder walked away from the porch, out of earshot. "What do you want?" "To help. Those children can't stay hidden forever. They need documentation. identities, school, medical care, everything Sarah's network can provide short-term but can't sustain long-term. Patricia's voice softened. And I'm guessing the Iron Vultures can't exactly enroll them in public school. Thunder's jaw clenched. She was right. The children needed more than protection. They needed futures, real futures, not fugitive existence in Mexican safe houses. You're asking me to hand them over, Thunder said. I'm asking you to trust me. Let me place them with families I've personally vetted. People who've taken in trafficking survivors before, who understand trauma, who won't ask questions about where these kids came from. And if the traffickers find them? The network's destroyed. Richard Mercer's dead. His infrastructure's collapsed. The children are safer now than they've been in years. Patricia paused. But they're not safe from their own memories, from PTSD, from the damage that's been done. They need therapy, stability, homes. Thunder watched Lily by the stream. She'd survived 2 years of hell, escaped, trusted outlaws, watched her sister die, been recaptured, freed again. She'd been through more trauma than most combat veterans, and now some social worker wanted to put her in a foster home with strangers. I need guarantees, Thunder said. You're a wanted fugitive. You're not in a position to demand guarantees. Then this conversation's over. Wait, Patricia breathed hard. Okay, what do you want? I want updates, monthly, on every child. Where they're placed, how they're doing. Any problems, you contact me first. Not police, not CPS, me. That's irregular. So is everything about this situation? Take it or leave it. Silence. Thunder could hear Patricia calculating, weighing bureaucratic regulations against the reality of 19 children who officially didn't exist. Finally, okay, monthly updates, but I need to meet them. Assess their condition. Make sure they're not in immediate danger. When? Today. Tomorrow. Soon as possible. Every day they're undocumented is another day they're vulnerable. Thunder looked at the safe house, at children who'd just started feeling safe, who'd just started laughing, asking them to trust another adult, another system, another promise of protection felt like betrayal. But keeping them here forever was worse. Tomorrow, Thunder said. Noon. I'll send coordinates. Come alone. You bring cops or CPS, deals off, and you never see these kids again. Understood. Thunder ended the call, stood in desert silence, processing. This was the right move, the only move, but it felt like losing, like after everything they'd fought for, the children were still being handed over to a system that had failed them before. Reaper appeared beside him. Who was that? Thunder told him. About Patricia. About Sarah's contingency plans. About the choice to place the children in foster care. Reaper listened, face unreadable. When Thunder finished, Reaper lit a cigarette, offered one. Thunder took it. It's the right call, Reaper said. Doesn't feel right. Right calls rarely do. Reaper blew smoke. These kids deserve normal. School, friends, prom, whatever childhood they can still salvage. We can't give them that. We saved them. Yeah, but saving's just the first step. What comes after matters more. Reaper met Thunder's eyes. They need parents, not bodyguards. Thunder knew he was right, but knowing didn't make it easier. These children had become his mission, his purpose. Letting them go felt like losing that purpose, like becoming directionless again, a broken Marine without a war to fight. What do we tell them? Thunder asked. The truth, that they're safe, that people are going to take care of them, that we'll always be watching, always be there if they need us. Reaper paused, that they're not alone. They gathered the children after lunch, all 19 sitting in the safe house's main room, looking at Thunder and Reaper with eyes that had learned to expect bad news. Thunder's father sat with them. Chains and Ghost flanked the exits, the whole Iron Vulture presence creating a protective perimeter even here, even now. Thunder stood before them. These children he'd bled for, killed for, almost died for. He didn't know how to say goodbye, didn't know how to explain that safety sometimes meant separation. There's someone coming tomorrow, Thunder said, a social worker. Her name's Patricia. She's going to help you find homes, real homes, with families who'll take care of you. Silence. The children stared. Emma's hand found Lily's. Other kids shifted closer together, seeking comfort, seeking each other. They'd become a unit, a family forged in shared trauma. Now Thunder was asking them to fracture. "Are you sending us away?" Emma's voice was small, scared. "We're getting you somewhere safe, permanent, where you can go to school, have normal lives." "This is safe," a boy named Michael said. 11 years old, Thunder had pulled him from a cage in Richard's compound. "You're here. You keep us safe." Thunder's chest cracked. "We can't keep you forever. We're fugitives, criminals. You stay with us. You become criminals too. No school, no documentation, no future." "We don't care about school," Emma said, tears starting. "We care about being together, about being with you." Lily stood, walked to Thunder, pulled out her ever-present paper and pen, wrote quickly, showed him. "You promised. You said we'd be safe. You said you'd protect us." Thunder knelt, met her eyes. "I am protecting you. This is how. Getting you real lives, real futures, not hiding in Mexican deserts waiting for traffickers to find us." Lily shook her head, wrote more, her hand shaking. "The system failed us before. Foster homes, social workers. They didn't protect us. You did. Why should we trust them now?" The question stabbed through Thunder. She was right. The system had failed these children catastrophically, placed them in homes where abuse happened, where traffickers recruited them. The system was broken, corrupt, inadequate, and Thunder was asking them to trust it again. "Because this time is different," Thunder said quietly. "This time I'm watching. If anyone hurts you, if anyone fails you, you contact me, and I come immediately, with every iron vulture still breathing." "Promise?" Emma whispered. Thunder met every child's eyes. "I promise. You're ours now. Our family. Family doesn't abandon family. We're just making sure you have futures worth living." His father stood, crossed the room, knelt beside Thunder, looked at the children. "I know what it's like to be taken from family, to be imprisoned, to lose years of your life to people who don't care if you suffer." His voice cracked. "These men saved me, just like they saved you, and now they're trying to give you what I lost. Time, freedom, choice. Don't waste it being scared. Be brave, like you've already been, like you've always been." Lily stared at Thunder's father, then at Thunder. Something passed between them. Understanding, permission. She nodded slowly, wrote one word, "Okay." The other children looked at her, their silent leader. If Lily trusted Thunder, they would too. Slowly, one by one, they nodded, accepting. Not happy, but accepting. Thunder stood. "Tomorrow, Patricia comes. You don't have to talk to her if you don't want. Don't have to trust her immediately. Just listen. Give her a chance. If it doesn't work, we figure something else out." The children dispersed, some crying, some silent, all processing. Emma and Lily stayed, both girls looking at Thunder like he was about to disappear. Like every adult who'd ever promised safety had eventually betrayed them. "Will we see you again?" Emma asked. Thunder wanted to promise yes, wanted to guarantee he'd visit, stay in contact, be present in their lives. But he was a fugitive, a wanted man. Any contact put them in danger, put him in danger. The smart answer was no. Clean break. Let them heal without reminders of the trauma. But these children had been lied to enough. "I don't know," Thunder said honestly. "I'll try, but I can't promise. What I can promise is I'll always know where you are, always be watching. You need me, you call. And I come. Every time." Lily hugged him. Emma joined, two girls clinging to a scarred Marine who'd become their unlikely protector. Thunder held them carefully. These broken birds who'd chosen to trust outlaws, who'd survived because men society called dangerous had decided protecting innocence mattered more than freedom. "You're going to be okay," Thunder whispered. "Both of you. You survived hell. Normal life's going to feel easy." Lily pulled back, wrote something, showed it to Thunder. "Will you be okay?" The question surprised him. In all of this, nobody had asked if Thunder would be okay. If the Marine who'd killed traffickers and almost bled out in a barn had his own healing to do, his own trauma to process. Everyone focused on the children, on the victims. Nobody checked on the protector, except Lily. I'll be fine, Thunder lied. Lily shook her head, wrote more. You're hurt too. I see it. In your eyes. The same hurt I have. Who takes care of you? Thunder looked at this 12-year-old girl who'd lost her voice but somehow saw clearer than anyone. She was right. He was hurt. Kandahar had broken him. Coming home to a country that didn't care had damaged him further. This mission had cracked him open. Seeing Maya die, watching children auctioned, killing his own uncle, learning his father was alive. All of it accumulated weight he didn't know how to carry. My brothers take care of me, Thunder said, gesturing to Reaper in chains. We take care of each other. Lily studied him, then nodded. She didn't believe him entirely, but she accepted it. Wrote one more thing. Thank you for hearing me when I couldn't speak. Thunder's vision blurred. He pulled both girls close, held them while his chest shattered. These children had taught him something he'd forgotten in Afghanistan, that protecting innocence wasn't weakness, wasn't naive. It was the hardest, most important thing broken men could do. Patricia arrived the next day exactly at noon. Professional, careful. She looked at the safe house, at the armed bikers standing guard, at 19 children who watched her with suspicion and trauma. To her credit, she didn't flinch, didn't judge, just introduced herself, explained what would happen, spoke to each child individually. Thunder watched from a distance, letting Patricia work. She was good, patient, honest about the process, about foster care, about how trauma didn't disappear just because you found a safe home. Some kids warmed to her, others stayed guarded. Lily refused to write. Emma answered in monosyllables, but none of them ran. After 3 hours, Patricia approached Thunder. They're traumatized, more than I've seen in 20 years doing this work. But they're survivors, resilient. With proper support, proper therapy, they'll heal. How long? Years, maybe longer. Some of them might never fully recover, but they'll learn to live with it, learn to function. That's all we can ask. Thunder nodded. Placements? I've got families lined up, vetted, experienced with trafficking survivors. Most are willing to take siblings together. Lily and Emma can stay together. Michael and his brother. The others will be grouped based on compatibility and need. When? Week, maybe 2. I need to finalize paperwork, create documentation. These children don't exist officially. That takes time. Thunder looked at the children, at the temporary family they'd built. They want to stay together, all of them, not just siblings. Patricia's expression softened. I know, but that's not realistic. 19 children in one home? No foster family can manage that. They need to split up, but I'll make sure they can stay in contact, visit, maintain connections. It wasn't enough, but it was reality. Thunder accepted it with the same grim resignation he'd accepted every impossible situation since Kandahar. You did what you could with what you had. Sometimes what you had was inadequate. You pushed forward anyway. What about us? Thunder asked. The Iron Vultures. You reporting our location? Patricia met his eyes. I'm a social worker, not law enforcement. My job is protecting children, not arresting the men who saved them. She paused. Sarah trusted you. These kids trust you. That's enough for me. Thunder didn't know if he believed her, but he didn't have choice. Either trust Patricia or keep 19 children in permanent hiding. The second option wasn't viable, so trust it was. The same uncomfortable trust Lily had placed in outlaws at a truck stop. Sometimes trust was all you had. The next 2 weeks passed in strange limbo. Children preparing to leave, Iron Vultures preparing to disappear, Thunder's father teaching as many fishing lessons as time allowed, Reaper organizing logistics, Chains running perimeter security, Ghost and Priest scouting exit routes in case Patricia betrayed them. She didn't. Families started arriving, vetted, cleared. People who'd fostered trafficking survivors before, who understood triggers, who knew how to create safety without smothering. The children left in pairs, in groups, each departure ripping pieces from Thunder's chest. Emma and Lily left together, placed with a former Marine and his wife who'd lost their own daughter to trafficking years before. They understood the weight, the trauma, the way trust had to be rebuilt inch by painful inch. Thunder watched them load into the car, Emma crying, Lily silent but gripping her sister's hand. Before they left, Lily ran back, hugged Thunder, pressed a note into his hand, then got in the car. Thunder watched them disappear down the dirt road, dust settling, silence returning. He opened the note. You saved my life twice, once from the van, once from giving up. I hope someday someone saves you too. Love, Lily. Thunder folded the note, put it in his wallet, beside the photo of his unit from Kandahar, beside the memorial card from Sarah's funeral, beside the newspaper clipping of Maya's testimony. Evidence of the people who'd changed him, saved him, made him believe broken men could still protect innocence. By the end of week 2, all 19 children were placed. The safe house echoed empty. Just iron vultures and Thunder's father, the mission complete. The children safe. The network destroyed. Everything they'd fought for. So why did it feel like losing? Reaper found Thunder on the porch. Same spot, same dawn coffee, different reality. What now? Reaper asked. Thunder looked at the desert, at the border somewhere north, at Arizona beyond it. We disappear, scatter. Give Patricia's placements time to settle. Make sure the children are really safe. And then? Then we do it again. Find the next network, the next compound, the next child who needs rescue. Reaper smiled. We're gonna die doing this. Probably. Good death, though. Better than growing old wondering if we mattered. Thunder nodded. Better to die protecting innocence than live protecting nothing. Better to burn out than fade away. The iron vultures had found their purpose, their war. It would probably kill them, but at least they'd die for something worth dying for. Your dad staying? Reaper asked. Thunder glanced inside. His father was packing, preparing to disappear into witness protection Patricia had arranged. New identity, new life. 15 years in chains had earned him that much. Yeah, he deserves peace, quiet, normal. What about you? You deserve that too. Thunder smiled. I'm too broken for normal. This is my normal. Hunting traffickers, saving kids, running from cops. It's the only thing that makes sense anymore. Reaper didn't argue. He understood. They all did. The Iron Vultures were men who couldn't exist in civilian life, who needed missions, purpose, something worth fighting for. Trafficking rings provided that, would keep providing it until bullets or age caught up. Thunder's father appeared in the doorway. Got a minute? Thunder nodded, followed his father away from the house. They walked in silence until they were alone. Desert stretching in every direction, just father and son, together for the first time in 15 years. Really together, not separated by death or imprisonment or the lies that had kept them apart. I'm leaving tomorrow, his father said. Patricia's got everything arranged. New identity in Montana, small town, quiet, safe. Good. You deserve quiet. His father turned, met Thunder's eyes. Come with me. Thunder's chest tightened. Dad, you've done enough, Jace. Saved those kids, destroyed the network, killed Richard. You've earned peace. Come with me. We'll rebuild. Be family again. Thunder wanted to say yes, wanted to walk away from this life, from the violence and running and constant vigilance. Wanted to believe he could be normal again. But Kandahar had killed normal. This mission had buried it. I can't, Thunder said quietly. Why not? Because somewhere right now another child is being trafficked. Another Lily is trapped. Another Maya is being silenced. If I walk away, who saves them? That's not your responsibility. It became my responsibility the moment Lily wrote SOS in her blood and trusted me to see it. Thunder paused. I can't unsee what I've seen. Can't unknow what I know. Can't pretend evil stops existing because I stop fighting it. His father's eyes filled with tears. I lost 15 years. I don't want to lose you too. You won't. I'll visit when I can. Stay in contact. You'll know I'm alive. Until you're not. Until some trafficker kills you. Until I bury another son. Thunder had no answer for that. Because his father was right. This life would probably kill him. But dying protecting children felt better than living while ignoring them. Felt like the only redemption available to a man who'd killed so many in Kandahar. I'm sorry, Thunder said. For not being the son you deserved, for being too broken to walk away. His father grabbed him, pulled him close, held him like he'd wanted to for 15 years. You're exactly the son I raised, good, brave, willing to fight for people who can't fight for themselves. I'm proud of you, Jace. So goddamn proud. Thunder broke. Years of holding himself together collapsing in his father's arms. He wept. For Maya, for Sarah, for Rattlesnake and the Desert Reapers who died protecting children, for every victim he couldn't save, for the man he used to be before war carved away everything soft. His father held him, let him break. Didn't try to fix it, just bore witness, the way fathers do. When Thunder finally pulled himself together, his father cupped his face. Promise me something. What? Promise me you'll find a way to live, not just survive, not just fight, but actually live. Find something beyond the mission, beyond the rage, something that makes you want to see tomorrow. Thunder didn't know if he could promise that, but he nodded anyway. I'll try. That's all I ask. They walked back to the safe house. Thunder's father left the next morning. Thunder watched him go. Another piece of his past disappearing into witness protection and the hope for normal futures. Thunder stood alone on the porch. Reaper and the others had scattered, following Thunder's orders, becoming ghosts, waiting for the next mission. Thunder pulled out his phone, checked the encrypted message board Sarah's network maintained, requests for help, tips about trafficking, locations that needed investigation. The board was always full, always updating, proof that evil never rested. Neither would Thunder. He selected a message. Possible trafficking operation in New Mexico. Children reported missing, local authorities not investigating. Thunder memorized the details, erased the message, started planning. His phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. This is Lily. Patricia gave me your number. Wanted you to know I'm okay. Emma too. Our new family is nice. They let me write instead of talk. They don't push. Thank you. For everything. For hearing me. For not giving up. You saved my life and saved all of us. I hope someday you let someone save you. Love, Lily. Thunder read it 3 times. Saved the number. Typed back. Stay safe. Call if you need anything. Anything. I'll always come. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally, I know. That's why I'm not scared anymore. Thunder pocketed his phone, looked at his Harley. SOS still visible in dried blood on the tank. He'd never washed it off. Never would. It was a reminder, a promise, that when children wrote desperate messages to strangers, some strangers would answer, even if those strangers were outlaws, especially then. Thunder mounted his bike, kicked it to life. The engine roared, familiar, comforting. He'd ridden this bike through Arizona deserts, through firefights, through the worst mission of his life. It had carried him to children who needed saving, would carry him to more. He pulled out, heading north, toward New Mexico, toward the next compound, the next mission, the next child waiting for someone to care. Behind him, the safe house disappeared, the temporary sanctuary where 19 children had learned to laugh again, where Thunder's father had reclaimed humanity, where broken men had proven that protecting innocence wasn't weakness. It was the hardest thing they'd ever done, and the only thing that mattered. Thunder rode through desert dawn, alone, hunted, scarred, but no longer aimless. The mission was clear, simple, impossible. Save every child he could find, destroy every trafficker he could reach, keep fighting until bullets or age caught up. It wasn't the life he'd planned, it was better. Because somewhere ahead, maybe 50 miles, maybe 500, a child was writing SOS in whatever way they could, waiting for someone to see, someone to care, someone to answer. Thunder was that answer, would always be that answer. The iron vultures had become ghosts, scattered across states, invisible, but connected, ready to converge the moment another call came. Another child needed rescue. They were outlaws, criminals, men society feared and police hunted, but they were also protectors, guardians, broken warriors who'd found the one mission worth dying for, and they would keep fighting until every child was safe, or until they were dead. whichever came first. Thunder's phone buzzed. Message from Reaper. Got something in Texas. Compound. Maybe 20 kids. You in? Thunder smiled, typed back. Always. 3 more messages appeared. Chains, Ghost, Priest, all confirming, all ready. The Iron Vultures were moving, converging, preparing for the next battle in a war that would never end. Thunder opened the throttle, his Harley screaming across empty highway, the sun climbing higher, desert stretching endless. Behind him, the safe house where children had healed. Ahead, the compound where children waited. Between them, Thunder rode, alone but not alone, scarred but not broken, haunted but not defeated. He was a Marine who'd come home from war only to find the war followed him, who'd discovered that evil didn't need battlefields. It operated in suburbs, in mansions, in places society pretended didn't exist. But Thunder existed. The Iron Vultures existed. And as long as children needed saving, they would keep fighting, keep bleeding, keep proving that sometimes the only thing standing between innocents and monsters was a group of broken men who decided protecting the weak mattered more than protecting themselves. Thunder rode into the rising sun, his shadow stretched behind him, long, dark, carrying the weight of everyone he'd saved and everyone he'd lost. Maya, Sarah, Rattlesnake, the children who'd trusted outlaws. The father who'd survived 15 years waiting for rescue. They rode with him, in memory, in purpose, in the knowledge that his fight was their fight, that every child he saved was validation of their sacrifice, that none of it had been meaningless. Thunder's Harley roared, desert wind tore at his leather cut, his side ached where Catherine's bullet had torn through, his hands were scarred from fighting, his soul was damaged from war, but his heart still beat, still pushed blood, still insisted that tomorrow mattered, that children mattered, that broken men could still be heroes, even if the world never called them that. Especially then. Thunder disappeared into the horizon. Just another outlaw on a Harley. Just another ghost society would forget. But somewhere in Texas, children were waiting. And when children waited, Iron Vultures answered. Every time, without question, without hesitation. Because some promises mattered more than life. Some missions were worth dying for. And protecting innocence was the only thing that made broken men whole. Thunder rode on. The engine's roar echoing across empty desert, a sound like thunder, rolling toward storms only outlaws dared to face. Somewhere in America tonight, a child is being sold. A girl is writing SOS in blood nobody will see. A boy is giving up hope that rescue exists. The system has failed them. Society ignores them. But in the darkness between headlines and laws, 50 Iron Vultures are riding, watching, waiting for the call. Because outlaws don't need permission to protect innocence. They just need a reason. And children screaming silent into the void are reason enough. This story ends. But the mission never does. As long as evil trades in innocence, broken men will keep fighting, keep bleeding, keep proving that sometimes heroes wear leather cuts instead of badges. Sometimes salvation comes on Harleys. And sometimes the only people who save you are the ones society already gave up on. Thank you for riding with us, for hearing Lily's voice, for believing broken men can still protect the innocent. Stay safe out there. And if you ever see a child writing SOS, answer. Someone needs to. Someone always needs to.